Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be in this world, and welcome to this dual stream Talk and Ball and Eltel Cockerel. Changed the timings today and thought we'd do a show just to get one out there because we didn't do one yesterday. The reason behind it is Colin has bought a house, and yesterday was moving day. So he's busy working and moving at the same time. And so we're not sure whether we could have got another show out today at 4 o'clock. Hence why I've decided to come on and do a show today. And I will be joined with my co-host Ash, who will be joining in a second. Um, but yeah, just wanted to reach out to everyone to see how everyone is and to talk things Tottenham. Just have a chilled one this morning. So I will say hello to people because we have people in the chat, and I will say hello in a minute. I'm just going to wait for Ash to join us. We've got a few things to talk about today. Today's Thursday, the 4th of January. And well, here where I am on the south coast in England, it looks quite a sunny day at the moment out there, but it's not warm. But I fear, when I saw the weather forecast yesterday, I fear that within the next couple of hours, we have prolonged rain coming in and storms coming in down here on the south coast, and set to be with us for the majority of the day. So not looking very good on the weather front, I'm afraid, at the moment. But yeah, it is what it is. But what I was going to start off with, I will start off with the banner, and this banner is a get well soon Ellie. She's one of our own, and she's not well at the moment, and we just wish her all the best from me and from Colin and from Ash and from everyone at Talk and Ball and Eltel Cockerel. We want to wish Ellie speedy recovery, warm wishes and hugs. And yeah, we miss her. She's not been on our screens for ages because she's not been very well. So start off with a get well soon, Ellie, and also a get well soon to Chang. Chang, who's our very, very, very good friend and panelist from Malaysia, is currently not well either. And for him, we also sent out positive vibes and hope that he feels well and that he gets back to 100% and be back on our screens, be back on shows as soon as possible. So yeah, for them two people, we will send out warm wishes. So that's to both Ellie and to Chang. So get well soon, both of you. Um, yeah. So the first comment I was going to start with today is I'll start with here. Here she is. He's Ash is here. There she is.
Hi, Jose. Sorry for being late.
That's all right. How are you?
I'm all right. Slightly under the weather. I think something's been going around here. But
Are you not you as well?
yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, as bad as it was for you. I just have like a sore throat.
I've just put up on the screen. Look, get well soon to Chang because Chang's not well.
Oh, I think there's something worldwide running around. It's just everywhere is the
Yeah,
same.
Chan. When I messaged Chan last night because obviously the time zones are different, so I've been checking in on Chan for the last 3 days because he's not well. And when I messaged him, it was last night. Jacob's show was on, and I messaged him saying it must have been about 8 o'clock in the morning for him. And I just wanted to check in. I said to him I'll check in with him every day to see how he was, and he was going to visit the medical centre to go and get some stronger medicine and to see whether they prescribe him antibiotics because he's really not in a good way at all. So
Oh,
I've put a message out there for get well soon to Chang and also a get well soon to Ellie. So that's how I've
uh,
started the show.
I hope they both get well soon. I generally don't fall very sick, so even if I have illness, it's just I bounce back within like a few hours, maybe a night's sleep. So luckily, I have that covered. So Ellie, get well soon. Chang, get well soon. I hope you all feel much better. And Jose, I hope you are feeling much better as well.
I'm just bunged up now. I think I've got over the worst of it, but I'm bunged up where my ears as well. My ears, I keep having to do that with
Ah,
my
yeah.
mouth, but I can't unblock it. My ears seem to be really stuffed up as well. But
Yeah, you
we,
have to clear your sinuses to get your ears to be less stuffed up.
yeah,
Um,
well, I keep using eucalyptus, but it's not helping at the moment. It's not helping at the moment. But yeah, so what I would say is we start off with the chat. We've got Scott M. It was the time now is 3:30 in the morning for Scott. It's way too early for me, but I hope you have a great show, Jose. I'll
that's
watch back
America,
when I wake
right?
up. I think he's Canada. Yeah, Scott's in Canada. And then you have Mark Cousins. Good morning, Mark. Uh,
Morning, mom.
and then you also have Mark saying, "Wait till you get to my age, Ash. You're constantly ill."
Yeah.
You have all the artists saying good morning because I was the only one here when they first started. So he's saying good morning, and then he's also
Hi,
saying
everyone.
get well soon to Ellie and Chan, and he's also saying good morning to you, Ash,
Morning, audio artisan.
and good morning to Daniel Sandoval. Sorry, bunged
Wanda.
up. And it's a good morning from Nita to both of us.
Love Nita. Good morning.
Yeah, Nita's a scream, isn't she? And then we
Yeah.
also have Shanata Kamaka. Good evening from
Correct
Sydney.
answer, I
So yeah,
think.
good evening to you all. Um, so the place I wanted to start first of all was I wanted to ask you, Ash, who is our executive chef?
Oh wow. Right now, I think it's a too many cooks situation, perhaps.
Yeah,
Um, when we had Paratici, I think we were just cooking on our own, slowly simmering away. Um, but at this point, I think we have just there's like longer, Langer. Then there's like Scott Munn. I don't know what he's there for. I think his role is just to like take Levy out of the equation in terms of criticism. Um, and then there's uh, Paratici still a consultant with us, and then we have who's the other one that was hired after Langer?
McDermott.
Yeah,
McDermott,
yeah. So no, not McDermott. It's some other name. Um,
the chap that came from Villa, wasn't it McDermott that came from Villa?
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, is it McDermott? Okay,
Yeah,
so Villa. I'm guessing Longer got kind of was warning his guys in, and so he got in this person. Um, so clearly there are way too many people handling our transfers. And do you know something? Our women's team already has two transfers in. They are so efficient. Whoever's doing that job should be doing this job as well because they clearly know what they're doing. so and if they can get in players from Australia and like Sweden, we can manage it here as well. So somebody who knows more about transfers needs to be doing this because like maybe this player is unfortunately named but Dragusin is just dragging on. It's just not cool. I want a center back in. Now I'm getting anxious. Like there's like this anxious feeling in the pit of my stomach that it'll be like Pedro Porro all over again and we'll be waiting for like 3 weeks before anything happens.
you're full on it today, aren't you? God, you've got a lot to say about this. I'm glad I bought this banner app. Just before we continue on this one, just to say good morning to Drula. She said good morning to both of us.
Morning,
Um,
Trula.
I don't know whether you saw Drula, but we've already sent out warm wishes this morning to both Ellie and Chang, and hoping that they'll get better. Um, and Nick Brown saying good day to you and me, Ash, as well. Um, so excited to have
Yeah,
another Aussie at Spurs. Yeah, we certainly are.
yeah, I
And you
think
have,
Kali's a great addition. I think I'm so excited, looking forward to her seeing her play. She's gonna be awesome.
and
I
then
mean, they got a defender even if we didn't.
we also have Quez Ali. Good morning, Quez Ali. How are you? So I'm going to go back to the banner again that I had on there. um, who is our executive chef. And the reason why I ask this question is because if I look at the timelines, Ash, of when people have been at the club. So you've got Paratici was with the club as a consultant since his ban was introduced earlier on in 2023. So therefore, for me, my personal opinion is that he's been there all throughout 2023. Scott Munn, although announced back in March, April of 23, didn't start till November. And now we've brought in Langer, and we've now brought in McDermott as well. So for me, my personal opinion, Ash, is that the only constant that we have is since the summer transfer window, if you're working towards a winter transfer window or the following summer transfer window, the person who's done most of the work for me must have been Paratici. Now that you've brought in Langer and McDermott, the person on the payroll who is a Tottenham employee is Langer. I've got a feeling, and it's only my feeling, and I'd like to hear what you say, but I've got a feeling that the winter window has been lined up by Paratici, and that the other two are probably more geared because they came in later in the piece, are more geared to line up for the summer. And that's why I'm asking who is our executive chef, because our executive chef, because he's on the payroll, should be Langer. But my belief is that our executive chef is actually Paratici. And I wanted to ask you your thoughts on that. And also, do you think that there is any animosity from Langer still having Paratici about, or do you think that they all work together seamlessly? What are your thoughts?
Uh, so I wouldn't doubt that actually that Paratici is the main cook, simply because we're also hearing like that most likely transfer right now is from the Syria. He's a young player. He has a lot of promise. It feels like a Paratici mold of signing. Like he feels like an Odogi sort of signing, or so I do feel like perhaps Paratici probably has had a role to play. Um, but I also feel like what happens. It happens a lot when you join a new job, right? You want to make your presence felt, and I'm sure when Langer joined, he thought like he knew that there was this thing that Spurs has with Paratici. It's not like you join a company not knowing these things, not doing your research. So I'm sure he felt confident that over time he would sort of manage to stamp down his own authority on the department, on the proceedings. So I have a feeling that he might have come in and sort of gotten his presence felt, which is why we're seeing scouts being cited at Genoa, watching Dragosin's match, scouts being cited, in watching different players. You hear a lot of, Langer was spotted here, McDermott was spotted there. So clearly, they're sort of making their presence felt in the media as well. So I think that possibly that's because they're trying to show that this is their transfer window as well. So it is. I have no doubt that Paratici might have laid out the original transfers that Spurs wanted get done, but that like Langer is sort of having a say on each of these transfers as they go through. So I think that that's a problem, because what's happening is there's just too many ways of going about. Even if they agree on the person, there are just too many ways to go about it, I think.
Okay, but so with let me see, where is he? I'll find him. I'll find him. So with this young man, is it Paratici that's leading the deal?
I think it's Paratici that came up with the name and decided on the deal, but it's because of his lack of involvement. Now Genoa and his agent are taking us for a run.
Right. Okay. So
That's what
just
I think. It's just a personal opinion.
yeah. So I'm just going to go back to the chat again because we had some people come in. So just to show. the banner that we had this morning. So this morning we started with a get well soon to Ellie because she's not well at the moment. So yeah, big warm wishes and warm hugs from the channel to Ellie, and we hope that Ellie feels better soon because we want to see her back with her dulcet tones and all her thoughts and all her defending of Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. So we need to see her back as soon as possible. But we also have Chan, who we're also saying from the channel, a heartwarm wishes for Chan also to get better soon because we want to see Chan back at 100% and back on our screens with his comments. And in saying that, we have Chan who's given us an update. So he's thanking all the artists, and I've kept my fever at bay. I just need to get my voice back, which is all hoarse and rough like sandpaper at the moment. Face purple, crying.
Oh, that's smiley. The smiley tags.
Yeah, and then you have Liam Harty. Good morning, Liam. Julia saying, "Isn't it Scott Munn?" Liam Harty saying, "Lancaster final sign all transfers." And then you have Nick Brown saying, "I like to think Paratici and Langer conspire together. Scott Munn for promoting the club internationally." Chan can't speak, but Chan can comment. If the club has an executive chef, that would explain Ndombele's out of control diet before he was sent on loan to Galatasaray.
Wait, then that chef would have to be from McDonald's.
or Burger King.
Well, Burger King.
And then Drew the same, get well soon to Chang. All the artisans saying, "Hot rum and lemon, mate, will sort you out," from all the artisans.
Yeah. Hot toddies. We even give them to our children on it, unfortunately. So
Liam is saying 100% Mia. I'm not sure what that means, but
what? Mia's going at the same time. Maybe he's watching both shows.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. I didn't know Mia was going at the same time. This video could very well do with a like as well as subscription to the channel. Yeah, that's all good, Chan. That's all good. And then you've got Nick Brown also showing the love, saying, "Get to Chan to get well soon, brother." My next topic was the FA Cup is here and Premier teams enter the fray. The first game is tonight. And the game tonight is, and I had it earlier, is Crystal Palace Everton. So the FA Cup third round with all Premiership teams actually starts tonight. We don't play till tomorrow. So how are you feeling for the FA Cup? Is the FA Cup for you? Is it a big thing? You know, what are your thoughts on the FA Cup?
Yeah, I love the FA Cup. I'm a fan of domestic cups. I think because I always look forward to them thinking, oh, this year we don't have a chance to win the league, but at least we could go on a cup run. Every year, optimistically, like a good Spurs fan, I sit down for a good cup run that never happens. Or, if it does happen, we lose in a semi-final or a final. And then I feel heartbroken all over again. And so FA Cups are just those trophies that it's one of those trophies that I really want to win. And I've seen the videos and the movies of Spurs winning the FA Cups before, and it makes me feel like a Spurs fan. Like I have not been alive for an FA Cup win with Spurs, so it just makes me feel like I want that for myself as well. So yeah, I want to see Spurs do really well in the FA Cup, and I want us to take it really seriously. Um, and I enjoy watching the FA Cup in general also because it's a knockout tournament, so teams go at it really differently. This round is not particularly interesting simply because a lot of Premier League teams just play their B teams. But it's also sort of like fun to see who's in our squad performing in the B team. I'm excited to see if he'll play the kids. And I feel like this could be the place where you give Donnelly or Phillips or Dorrington a start. Not all of them, some of them, maybe one of them, or bring them on.
So with the FA Cup, then, I mean, everyone's different because we're all different ages and that. But I remember the FA Cup being every round, but more so when you got to the final of it being a big fanfare and a big hoo-ha, and you'd get up early in the morning on FA Cup final day. I'd get up really early in the morning because the programming, this is before you had satellite TV, the programming used to be just here in this country used to be BBC One and ITV, and therefore
Yeah.
they'd both predominantly be FA Cup orientated on the cup final day, and their program would start like at 8 o'clock in the morning, breakfast with the teams and stuff like that, and there'd be a whole day of a lead up. Uh, uh, and it was like the road to Wembley Way, it used to be, and stuff like that, and it used to be a leader. So the FA Cup used to be a really, really, really big thing. It's been watered down a lot since the satellite companies came in because they want to show a game of football every day. I've got no doubts that tonight's game will be on telly. Tomorrow night's game will be on telly. There'll be games on Saturday. There'll be games on Sunday. And there'll probably be games on Monday. They spread the FA Cup where it used to be one day. It used to be just a Saturday, the third round. Now it's spread over 5 days. So does it still have the same? When you first started watching Tottenham in the FA Cup, and I think you said about 20 years ago,
Yeah.
are you still the same person that you were 20 years ago now? Or has the FA Cup changed in any way for you? Or has it got better or worse?
I mean, it has changed a lot, especially because over the years, Spurs started doing well in the Champions League for a brief moment, and then people were like, "Oh, we need top four because Champions League, we have to play Champions League." And I would always be like, "Oh, we'll be out of the group stage, or we'll be out in the round of 16. Let's just go for an FA Cup run. That means more to me." But slowly as we start progressing in the Champions League, our expectations of the team also got higher, and then the FA Cup, and also the money in the FA Cup got lower, like in comparison to getting into the Champions League and the TV rights from the Champions League and all of that. And so it became like top four was essential. Top four was essential. Forget everything else. But so like most fans, I think most fans my age at least and younger possibly don't value the FA Cup as much as say the older fans in the club might. But I still feel there are plenty out there who do. And like I like the idea of the FA Cup. Anybody, any team in England can win the FA Cup. I like the idea of that. It's probably going to be a Premier League team. It generally is. And it's probably going to be one of the bigger Premier League teams. But you never know, right? It's the fantasy of it, the idea that all the clubs in England play against each other, each and every single one of them. It's just a wonderful story. So I want us to win the FA Cup. I love the FA Cup.
Yeah, with the FA Cup, there's no seeded. It's not like any other sports where you have seeded protection. You go into the hat and you can draw any of the teams. I mean, do you remember when we drew Marine in the FA Cup?
Yeah, that was a crazy. It was amazing to see that game because it was this tiny little state. And before the fixture, there were all these videos about Marine, and how like the ticketing system works, and how like the people have kept the club up and all of this. So it was just a proper like English story of like football. So it was just wonderful. It's just this, like, it's such a fantasy for Marine to be playing Spurs, who are in the like Premier League. It's a great story. And on that day, I remember, was it Alfie Devine who scored? I think.
Yes, he did. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was Alfie Devine who scored. And so it was like, for us also, it was like this great sort of thing, because our youngsters are scoring against this team in the FA Cup. So it all around felt like a feel good game.
Yeah, I remember watching the game, and um, I think the ground only had 3 sides, if I remember rightly, and one of the
Yeah,
sides didn't have.
was
You couldn't have.
houses.
It was houses. It was backed onto the back gardens of houses, and there was mesh. They put mesh up there so the ball doesn't go over into their gardens, and you could
Yeah,
see people watching the game from their garden, which is absolutely
yeah.
brilliant. Where
Yeah, they
else
were
in the
watching
world would you get that?
gardens and from their bedrooms, and the camera was panning into them. It was so much fun.
Yeah, so but I'm just saying the Marine because of what you just said about with the FA Cup. You like it because everybody can play everyone, and as soon as you said that to me, I just went, okay, if we're going to keep it relevant to Tottenham, Marine was not so long ago. So, just to go back on the chat quickly, you got Drill is saying to you, Chan, Himalayan salt nasal and throat wash really good to clear the sinuses. Or that could be to me as well. That could be to me
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
It's I think it's to you. And if you put like hot water and Himalayan salt, even if you're not like getting throat wash, just gargle with that. That also helps. Like Himalayan
Fantastic.
salt and hot water.
I'm gonna have to go and get myself some Himalayan salt. That's the one that's got funny colours. It's white crystals and pink crystals. Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Liam was saying that he was actually agreeing with you 100%. What is what his comment meant earlier. Drula says that we need to take the cup seriously. Mark is saying, don't get me started on 91. We'll be here a while.
yeah.
Audio Artisan is saying, why don't teams release FA Cup songs anymore? There used to be some hilarious ones. Do you remember the FA Cup songs that they used to be from
uh,
all the teams?
was yeah, I mean, I vaguely remember them. I don't remember them really well. I think but there are some cool like songs of like finals and things like that, right? Like Hot Shot Tottenham, was that League Cup? That was a League Cup song, but
Mm.
that was a fun song as well. It's one of my favorite songs, Hot Shot Tottenham. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, but all the teams, it's not just Tottenham, all the
Mm.
teams normally used to release a FA Cup song.
Yeah, no, I remember
So,
that. I vaguely remember that. It's just like I was pretty young.
well, I remember all the FA Cup songs because I'm pretty old.
Go on, say. Can you belt one out?
Yeah, Spurs are on their way to Wembley.
Yeah,
Tottenham's
that one
going to
I know.
do
That
it
one.
again. Well, there you go. But it's not just Tottenham. There's been other clubs that have done them. But because I don't support the other clubs, I remember them happening, but I couldn't remember word for word what they were.
In
You got
fact, when Aussie came, everyone started singing Aussie's Dream for like all the Indian fans, and it was really surprising because they're all really young, 15 and 16-year-olds mostly. So I was really surprised that they even knew it. So
fantastic.
it's just wonderful.
You got Tommy G. He's saying hello to you, Ash.
Hi, Tommy G.
Um, and then we have Nick Brown saying, I remember when Poch, in one of his first interviews, said priority is qualify for Champions League and the domestic cups are not important.
Yeah, he did say this. That's what I hate. But that was one I love Poch, but that was one thing I really hated about him. He always prioritized the Premier League. I mean, for good reason. We got in the top four every time, but yeah, I wish that he had tried just slightly harder in the cups.
Do you think, just on what you're saying, Ash, do you not think that Tottenham at the time under Pochettino, apart from the first season, for the next 2 to 3 seasons, had we just done a little bit more in the FA Cup, we still would have
We would
got
have
top
won.
four. We still would have got top four, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I think we would have gotten, because at that point we had perhaps the best starting 11 in in the entire league, right? Uh, uh, I don't think Leicester had a better starting 11 than us, and I genuinely don't believe Chelsea the season after that had a better starting 11 than us. And so I do believe, and I do believe that we could have won it. We could have won a cup, and I also think that cup runs, like remember the Chelsea Mourinho team, they won the cup and then they won the league the next year.
Yeah,
I do believe that cup runs give you momentum sometimes. It gives you that belief that you can win something. I
yeah,
think it's the same. I mean, Liverpool had a very big cup run with the Champions League, but like that winning that Champions League then gives them confidence that they can go again at City and win the Premier League. So winning something is a feeling that you sort of, it's addictive. You want to do it again and again. So instead of going at it, I feel like we're going at it the opposite way. Instead of ignoring the cups to focus on the league, we have to win the cups to win the league. I
yeah,
feel like it's just backwards somehow.
yeah, yeah. Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. And then you've got Nick Brown saying Himalayan salt was recommended to me by an Indian friend and was good. And then Mark Cousins saying Indie Cup for Tottenham. So he's saying it the way that Aussie, he's trying to spell it the way that he says Aussie pronounced the song.
Yeah.
So, um, so with that being said, tomorrow, looking towards Burnley, what do you expect? What are your expectations tomorrow?
I mean, I have a feeling Fraser Foster's going to start, and that already sort of makes me annoyed. But I think ahead of him we'll put a decent 11. It won't be a starting, like it won't be our first starting 11 or like the Premier League 11. But I think it should be enough to get past Burnley, because Burnley's also struggling. Has its own league. Like it has its own aspirations in the Premier League, so it'll probably rest a few players as well. But I don't think many players will be rested, because there's such a gap between the FA Cup match and then the next Premier League match. So maybe they'll only rest like a really big ticket player who might get injured. So apart from that, I think Burnley will probably play its full strength team, and I hope that we will as well, because there's plenty of time for that United game.
Hmm. I personally would not like to see Forster in goal. I personally
Yeah,
think if it was me and it's all up to me, Vicario is numero uno. Numero uno. He starts all day long, regardless that we're not in. This is the only cup that we're in. I don't subscribe to. Yeah, give Forster a chance. Um, Vicario. I mean, you want for one, you want Vicario to stay healthy and be there all the time. Um, and if he's healthy, play him. I would, me personally, Ash, I would not risk Forster at all. I stick with Vicario because for me as well, what you're trying to do is you're trying to build something, and you, for me, you have to. It's creating them connections, and the triangular that we haven't got at the moment because the triangular should have been Vicario, Van der Ven, Romero, and that's the triangle we wanted to work on and get them to grow. But we've not had them as players. So
yeah.
by taking two out of the equation already, Vicario to me is an important part of this team. And with his feet and with his setting up the play from the back and his ball distribution, for me, that's important. And I think he's far better with his feet and with his speed of thought than what Forster is. So for me, I think we make a mistake by putting Forster in there. So I agree with you.
Yeah, honestly, I don't ascribe to this notion that the backup goalkeeper should definitely start in the domestic cups. This I feel like the best player in every position should start, that you feel can win you the game. They he nobody can should take that position for granted, just because Vicario's playing the PL, and so Forster should be like, oh, I now expect to start in all the domestic cups. I don't think it should be like that. It should be a competitive situation where the best goalkeeper starts, and you only get a start if that best goal, God forbid, that best goalkeeper gets injured. That's what you're backup for. You're not backup just to play all the domestic cups.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. But for me, as I said, I'd like him to be. I'd like him to be in from the start. Um, just going back to the chat as we look towards this. Um, Who's news? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Who's news? FA Cup final adds another week to the season and is really about the fans having a big day out. Means your season doesn't end in a boring way. And Mark's agreed with you, Ash. He's saying absolutely correct, Ash. We had the best squad in the league for 2 seasons. Nick is saying what we don't know is when Poch and Levy sat down, what was discussed as a priority, and what would be the repercussions of failure in a set target. True, you don't know what happens behind closed doors, but as
No,
fans, we
I
want.
I genuinely believe it's all Daniel Levy. I don't think Poch would have been like, I don't want a trophy. I mean, Daniel Levy must have stressed with all his managers that top four is a priority. We need the money. We need it to grow, and cl- that's what he sees as the club should be achieving. So yeah, it has to be all Daniel Levy. But managers should be able to control the prospects of their own teams to some extent.
Yeah. And Tommy G is saying success breeds success. One little Ash is correct. Carabao could be a springboard to bigger things. Ash, you're right. It's Tommy G. You've got a supporter here in Tommy G, Ash.
Go on,
Uh,
Tommy G.
and then you've got Nick Brown saying, I mentioned Potts because perhaps all managers and the board focus on the money and the glamour of Champions League. Whose news? Tottenham maybe struggle a little with the night games. Burnley in the FA Cup is a tough game. Tommy G. Ash is right. Success breeds success. One little Carabao Cup could be a springboard to bigger things. And Mark is coming in with saying top
Yeah,
four is all
all about
Levy
the money.
wants, and it's all about the money. Yeah, so he's coming with that. And whilst people are here, if you are watching here on Talk and Ball, could you consider subscribing to Eltel Cockrell to help me grow my channel, which coincides with me co-hosting Talk and Ball with Colin. Just to repeat again, the reason why I've done a show this morning is because we didn't do one yesterday because Colin got the keys to his new house yesterday and he's in the process of moving in. For those people that have bought properties or had to move for whatever reason, it's a big ordeal. But Colin's trying to manage moving in as well as working his normal day job at the same time. So we missed out on a show yesterday because we do a daily show. And because we missed that yesterday, I said to Colin that I'd come on this morning and do a show. And Ash kindly agreed to co-host with me, just in case we didn't get a show out today at 4:00 with Colin. So that's the reason why we're here today. So we want to wish Colin all the best in his move to his new property and hoping that he settles in quickly. Because for Colin, it's his first big commitment, so to speak. Monetary wise, it's his first big commitment. So yeah, I hope it all goes well for him.
I'm so impressed with him. You know, Colin and I are a similar age. And I still haven't like bought my first house or anything. I'm saving up for it, but it's not happening anytime soon. So I'm really impressed that he's managed to do that. It's such a big achievement to do that, you know.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was talking to Colin about it, it's weird because when I bought a property years ago, the properties here in England and the way they go about it and the names for certain things, it's interesting because Colin's talking about it and I'm thinking to myself, does he mean this? Because in England it's a total different meaning. So here you've got estate agents. In America they're called realtors. So
Yeah, we call them real estate agents. So we
yeah,
mix
but
both the cultures.
yeah, so it was understanding what he says, and I was trying to, oh yeah, that means this and this means that, and when he's talking about this, yeah, he means yeah. So yeah, we wish him all the best, and I hope everything goes really, really well for him. And then here we go. So who's news? There are five. There are five all Premier League games in the FA Cup and lots of potential for upsets. Either way, a lot of top teams will go out. Yeah, tonight's all Premiership game that kicks it off. You've got an all Premiership game with us tomorrow. Sunday, you've got Arsenal Liverpool. I mean,
Yeah, that's going to be a cracker.
I'll be very honest. I've not looked at the FA Cup draw, so I couldn't tell you who the other teams all Premiership ties are. But if you've got five all Premiership ties, then 25% of the Premiership teams will be out of the cup for the fourth round.
There's also Brentford versus Wolves.
Okay, so you've got Brentford versus Wolves. Okay, and what's the other one?
So Crystal Palace, Everton, all you mean all Premiership, right? Crystal Palace, Everton,
That's
Brentford,
tonight.
Wolves, Tottenham, Burnley. Oh, tonight. Tonight there's
No,
only
yeah, that's that one.
uh,
That's all
Palace,
Premiership
Everton.
game. Tomorrow it's us.
Yeah, tomorrow is us. It's Brentford, Wolves, and Fulham, Rotherham.
Fulham.
Um, Fulham, Rotherham. I don't know how to pronounce
Oh
that
no, no,
name.
no, 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 no. Sorry, I thought you was looking at all the Premiership ties. The all Premiership ties.
Oh no, the Premiership ties are Brentford, Wolves, Burnley, Spurs, Crystal Palace, Everton, and then wait, let me look. Liverpool, Arsenal, and who else? That's it. Four. I count four.
Okay,
Who's the fifth one? Tell us in the chat.
I'm going to look now as well. Just because someone's put it in there, I'm going to look. Brentford, Wolves, Tottenham, Burnley,
Crystal Palace, Everton.
Crystal Palace, Everton, Swansea, Morgan. No, Sunday games. Arsenal, Liverpool. Yeah, we've got that one. I can't see it. I can't see a fifth one unless I'm blind. I can't
Yeah,
see a fifth
neither
one.
can I.
Yeah, I
Because
can't see
United's
a fifth
playing
one.
Brighton, City's playing Huddersfield,
Yeah,
Luton's playing Bolton. Um, let's see, Aston Villa's playing Middlesbrough. That might be a good game.
who'd
West
you
Ham's
say?
playing Bolton.
Aston Villa, Middlesbrough. Did you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, West Ham's playing Bristol. Chelsea's playing Preston. Then
Yeah, so it's
South.
four. It's four games, isn't it? Yeah, it's four
Yeah,
games.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll tell you what will be an interesting game on Saturday. Saturday will be Sunderland versus Newcastle.
Oh yeah, that'll be a cracker.
That's a,
That'll
that's a
be a
that's a northeast derby, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And those people are crazy. Like they're just crazy football fans. So they will support their teams till they like. Yeah, I love I do love Sunderland and Newcastle fans. They're just so passionate.
yeah. So just to go back in, you got Quezali thanking, congratulating Colin. Tommy G, the $1 million question is: will Levy be his usual self or cough up the money? We'll come back to that in a second. Who's new? Should improve Spurs' chances of going far in the competition. Nick is saying, I see, Jose. I did wonder why we were having an early show. Best of joy to Colin and his boss. I mean, his missus. Imran is asking, is Gallagher coming to Spurs? I'm going to star that one so we can answer that in a minute. I have Who's New saying Northeast Derby, lots of good Championship and League One teams could make the upsets. And you have Ramon Shu saying we need to play our strongest 11 in the FA Cup game. We need to take this competition seriously.
Absolutely, Himanshu.
And then we've got Mark Cousins, lots of people in -5 with no shirt on. Okay. Yeah, that's so he's referring to the Geordies, to the
Yeah.
northeast people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's just so funny. They will be like 4 or 5 beers down, and their shirts will be off, and I'm just like, are you even human? Because at that temperature, I have shut down like every part of my body, like my nose, my ears, my fingernails, everything is gone. So
I'm going to go back to a question, or the one that I've just starred, which was from Imran, and I'll ask you, Dash. There you go. Is Gallagher coming to Spurs?
I don't see it. Honestly, I don't see it. And I'll tell you why I don't see it. I know that Ibrahimovic is gone and Chelsea has FFP problems, so they'd love to get rid of Gallagher. But if he comes, he'll be like 60 million. I don't see Levy putting out that much money in January for a midfielder, especially when we have a lot of midfielders already. So I really don't see Gallagher. We do need a midfielder. We need a person in that role, in that's either like that six six role. I do think that it's just a confused like the 6 and the 8. We have so many players who can play both. That I feel like we have enough midfielders there. But if Hoybier is going, and if we want to get rid of Skippy, then I think Gallagher might be better than both of them. But I really don't see it happening. Plus, I kind of personally don't want it either. I rate him as a player. I think he's a good player, but I don't want Chelsea's captain. I'm sorry. It just feels wrong to me. Like it leaves a bad taste in the mouth. I'd rather not have Chelsea's captain, even if he's captained because of the thousands of reasons Chelsea is collapsing. But it just doesn't feel right to me.
So to me, the only constant for their team in their midfield, and the only player that plays well for them in their midfield, and the only constant has been Gallagher for me all season, as opposed to Casado, who they spent 125 on, Enzo, who they spent 105 on, and stuff like that. The only, I mean, I understand about the FFP ramifications to Chelsea and it being pure profit if they got rid of Gallagher. Um, but the two things that don't sit with me at the moment is Chelsea. One, would Chelsea want to do a deal on him? And two, because of who we are, Chelsea would ramp up the price. So whereby you might be getting a Gallagher being sold to another club for 30 or 40 million, Gallagher would be ramped up to 60 if Tottenham bid for him. So to me, I just don't think it's a starter. Even if Højbjerg goes, I just don't think Gallagher's a starter for me because of the amount of money that's going to be involved. If we can't sign Dragusin at the moment, how are we going to go for Gallagher? They're my
Yeah,
thoughts anyway.
I honestly, I see Chelsea, like Chelsea is not thinking about the football, like the FFP thing. I really don't think anybody in Chelsea is making any decisions related to how anybody is playing on the pitch. It's all they're just doing like this money ball thing with players where they try and like buying them and then selling them and that 8 year putting them on 8 year deals for that amortization stuff. I really don't think they're just playing the players like they're a stock market, like they're stocks. Players are stocks in this situation. There's not much difference, and so I think that I don't think Todd Bowley is looking at it as Gallagher is the only person playing in a function like a non-functioning midfield. He's just thinking Gallagher is the person that I have for free that I can sell, get most money from. It'll be pure profit. I think that's all he's thinking about. I don't think anybody's listening to Poch in that club. I don't think they would have these crazy transfers if they were actually listening to Poch. And Poch is just being the yes man and being like, yeah, they're listening to me. It's all great. Ho hum. So I really don't think uh, there is. I don't think there is a footballing brain behind what's happening at Chelsea. Definitely not.
Mm. So we have another question. So just to say, we have Rimanshu, can I join you guys on this stream? Rimanshu, we will touch base with you because I saw your comment yesterday on Ash's stream that you left on as a comment on Eltel Cockerel. So we will get in contact with you, Rimanshu. Yeah, if that's okay with you. We will get in contact with you. I'm going back to right. You've got Gallagher rumor came from Russia, so make that what you want. Rimanshu saying Gallagher's Chelsea's best player. Gallagher's Højbjerg-like player in brackets has a great engine, but more technical and aggressive. Good morning, Daniel Lee. How are you, mate?
Hi,
I hope
Daniel.
everything's well. Who's new to saying football agents are a wealth management of advisors. Mark Cousins says we'll probably get Noel Gallagher. And Rimanshu saying Chelsea has the worst recruitment. Imagine if Paratici had 1 billion. Imagine if anyone had 1 billion. And
Yeah.
Rimanshu's also asked, I'll start another question that Rimanshu's asked, and it is, Ash, there you go.
I think that he should play the 8. I think I personally think he's wasted as a 6. Because he's not able to go. What's happening?
So, hello?
Jose, can you hear me? Wait,
Yeah,
can
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
wait.
There you
I'll
are.
make.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't touch anything, so I don't know what happened.
Oh yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm still laughing at the Noel Gallagher thing. Um. Yeah, I think that he's wasted as a 6 simply because he has this ability to play box to box and he has like this amazing his amazing passing that he can do, and he's so press resistant that he wouldn't in as an eight he wouldn't lose the ball before that final pass. So I believe that he would be more useful to us as an eight. But he's just such a talented footballers, especially midfielders. They can play anywhere in a midfield. They can play the six, they can play the eight, they can play the 10. And Bentancur is like that. Like he would not play as well as Matters, for example, if you were in a 10. He may not play it as well as, say, Rodri if he was in a six. But he's that sort of technical, talented player that can play anywhere on that pitch, at least in the midfield. So I would prefer him on the eight, but I think he'd do just as well in the six.
Hmm. For me, if you're asking me the question, I will tell you what I've been screaming out for a long, long time, and that is that Bentancur is absolutely brilliant. And Bentancur, I believe, could play in any a six, an eight, a 10. He could play anywhere you wanted him to play,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
because we have Madison, we don't look at him as a 10. And probably because we've got Kulu that can play there. And at this moment in time, our needs are 6 and 8 rather than a 10 at the moment, because we have players that can play a 10. Then if we're looking at 6 and 8, he's equally adept to playing any of those positions. Because for me, if he returns from injury, which I hope he does, and he plays the remainder of this season without injury, he will then be classed as world class. For me, Bentancur is a player that walks into any of Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa, don't care what team you are in the Premiership, Bentancur walks into it. And I will say, and I'll go strong on this, saying he walks into Barcelona, he walks into Real Madrid, he walks into Bayern Munich. Bentancur walks into any midfield side as a 6 or an 8, hands down. That's my personal opinion on the man.
Yeah, I do believe Juve made a mistake there with Bentancur. My God, they had a player on their hands and they just didn't give him the time to show it. Show it. I'm so it's Tottenham's gain. Juve's loss is Tottenham's gain, and I really hope that he stays for a really long time and he makes that sort of impact for us because, you know, he's sublime. Watching him is so wonderful, and he's just calming in the midfield. I don't feel calm. Like I love all our midfielders, but I really don't feel calm the way I do when Benton Kerr has the ball. Even Bissouma, like I know he started the season really well, but he doesn't give me that sort of comfort that and he doesn't have the kind of like he's press resistant sometimes, but Benton Kerr, there was this moment. I don't know if you noticed it in the previous game, where Benton Kerr had three players surrounding him, and he managed to get that ball out with three players while and then passed I think into the midfield. My God, I was just looking at it and I was going, how did you manage that? You are insane. Like, there are so many of those moments. Like, I know it's one of those things I do when I feel like agitated. I watch Benton Corp videos because he calms me down. He makes me feel like we got this. This is happening. He's just wonderful. I love him.
Yeah, so hopefully that answers the question that you've asked us there. Quez Ali is coming in saying, if we are looking for a homegrown midfielder, Eze is the one for me, not Gallagher. We can question that in a second. We've got Hi Dirty Sanchez. Hello, how are you? Hope everything is well. Rimanshu, I just want to see Lo Celso, Bentancur, Madison midfield, but I'm afraid it will be too aggressive. I don't believe it will be too aggressive.
Yeah, I think it could work.
Yeah,
We could put Penny in the six, Lo Celso in the eight, and Madison in the 10. It could work. I think it could work. And who cares about defending? Let's go all out. Let's attack.
if you Ash, if you score more goals than your opponents, you win the
You win
game.
a game.
You get the
Yeah.
3 points. You win the game if you score more than the opponent. So yeah, I'm all for winning 9-7 every week.
Yeah.
You have Mark Cousin says, forget now, we'll get Frank if anyone remembers Seamus. Seamus was a program that was on here in this country, and the surname was Gallagher as well, so it's Frank Gallagher.
Point well.
Nita's agreeing, saying Benton Core, you got that right.
Uh-huh.
Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning to JJJ, wherever you are. This is the way too much a confidence,
Basically,
but this is way too much a confidence plan. Not good to have too many of these types in your team. Audio is coming with, I'd rather get Dewsbury Hall from Leicester than Gallagher. And Rimmonshu said Bissouma's form has dropped significantly. Is it down to confidence or form? Uh, what I'll come back to is if we had to buy a midfielder, so now we're going to say now, Ash, I'm going to say to you, right, we've now announced Højbjerg leaving for Juventus. What do you do if you had all the power and you were everyone? What would you do?
um, I would. I feel like we're as it depends on whether Lo Celso is staying. If Lo Celso is staying, then I feel like we're pretty much covered on the tens and the eights, and I would go for a six. Somebody, and like I believe that we should have every profile of player for the midfield, even if there's not a particularly Ange player. So I'd like to see somebody who's better than Højbjerg on the ball, makes a few like who can make the passes and do all of that, but do all the tough defensive work of a six as well. Because this team, gets caught out, can get caught out because of our high line, and so we
Yeah,
need someone who's constantly making those tackles, recovering the ball, all of that dirty work that goes into being a six. So we need someone who's tough, like somebody obviously not Rodri, but like somebody like that in that profile who can has the potential to be like that. We need someone like that. Or we need someone like N'Golo Kante. I believe Sar can be our Kante. Not that he is right now, but he can be. But we just need like a tough guy, because somebody to protect our back line. So because I don't think, even though Benton Kerr is pretty press resistant, Bissouma is pretty press resistant. Bissouma does do a lot of recoveries and tackles, etc. He can. I believe we can do with someone more steady, just that 100% every game, or at least 80% every game, a steady Eddie who does that, kind of like, I hate to bring them up, but kind of like what Arsenal have with Declan Rice.
but really, because I don't know the show that you're on X quite often, aren't you?
Yeah.
Have you seen what's going around on X about West Ham and Arsenal and about Rice? The points
Yeah,
difference. Have you seen that?
yeah, I have seen it. I mean, I don't really put much credence into it. Like, in the starting of the season, there were a lot of Spurs fans saying things like, Declan Rice is just Højbjerg. Um, and I don't agree with that. There are similarities in the sense that they're both tough. They both do a lot of like tackles and recoveries and that sort of thing. But Declan Rice isn't just like a stodgy six. He has goal in him. He makes really, like, some of his passing is really good. Um, he's he's quite underrated because he's not easy on the eyes, so he gets a little underrated. I hate praising an Arsenal player, don't make me do it, but I think that he's the best midfielder this season.
No, I think what I was getting to was at the moment on X or Twitter doing the rounds is there's people sending it out saying that Arsenal are 18 points worse off than last season and West Ham are 13 points better off than
Better off,
last
yeah.
season, and they haven't got Rice this year, West Ham, but Arsenal have got Rice. So there's a lot of people trolling and saying the reason
Yeah.
why there's a shift is because of Declan Rice. I'm not going to turn around and say that I subscribe to that, but I'm just saying it's out there doing the rounds at the moment.
Yeah.
For anyone here watching here on Talk and Ball, can you please subscribe if you wish over to my channel at Eltel Cockerel, as we are dual streaming. And by the same token, anybody that is watching on Eltel Cockerel, if you could come over and subscribe to Colin and myself here at Talk and Ball. It'd be very much appreciated. Going back to Nita. Nita's saying, I've been keeping stats with Benton, Core and Kulu from the 21-22, 22-23. Just need to update to now adding onto 24. Nita says this all the time. So Nita is a follower of these two when they came in the winter transfer window a couple of seasons back. And she, on a lot of streams, I've seen Nita say that she's kept stats on these two and that she's really, really impressed. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what your stats say for you, Nita, when you finally update everything. And once you do, let us all know, please. It'd be great. JJ is saying it's confidence with Bissouma, just like Richie. You have Rimanshu saying, for me, if Højbjerg leaves, I would try to get Paulinho from Fulham.
Yeah, that's a great shout. Great shout, yeah. Paulinho from Fulham.
Great shout, 60, 70 million, 80 million. If it's Tottenham bidding, it's about 80 million. Anyone else, 60, 80 to Tottenham. No one, seriously, because of the Daniel Levy factor, you add 20 million onto these players because that's what he's done to other teams. He's rubbed up people so much that other teams will just slap 20 million extra if Tottenham bid for a player. Mark Cousins, if we need a 6, get Dembele, a new Dembele with some legs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you could put new legs on the old Dembele, I'd take him. I'd take him as well. But he was one of my favorite Spurs players ever. I think Musa Dembele was just class all around. He never, like, he's one of those underrated midfielders that because he played for Spurs, he never got recognized on an international stage. But I think that he was just like the superstar that wasn't. He was amazing, and every player who's played with him thinks he's the best player to have played with them. And I wish he hadn't gotten injured, and his career hadn't sort of had a start stop to it, because he would have been amazing. He was amazing, at least for Spurs he was amazing. And I wish that his career could have been prolonged until 34, 35. He would have showed us what a great player he was.
Yeah. You've got Rimanshu saying, and a good left winger, Jota on the wing. Then you have Dirty Sanchez saying Spurs are
Which
13.
Jota? The Al Ittihad one? Which Jota? The Al Ittihad one, I'm guessing?
Yeah. The one, yeah. That's who he's talking about, left wing, yeah. And then Dirty Sanchez saying Spurs FA Cup 13-1, worth a few shekels. Shekels is like pennies.
Yeah.
13-1. Dirty Sanchez, is that 13-1? I presume that you're talking about winning outright, so to win the FA Cup rather than a tie. Bill is saying big up to us both. Good afternoon, good evening,
Hi,
good
Bill.
morning to Bill wherever you are. Hello, how are you? Right, Daniel Lee, the perennial Daniel Lee. Arsenal were not 18 points better off than last season. That means they would have had 58 points at this stage already last season. Right, Arsenal had reached 50 points by Christmas last year. Now, whether it's 13 or 18, I don't know whether they're 13 in front or 18 or 13 behind where they were last year. But if you look on X, you'll see that this is being tweeted everywhere. I'm not reading it now. I'm just saying that I've seen it. So it could be the other way around. It could be 13, Arsenal are worse off, and West Ham are 18 better off. But them two numbers are the ones that have been quoted. Bill says, I saw Gaza yesterday. I asked him to come back and play for us. He gave me a wink. Fantastic. Daniel Sandman saying Antonio Nusa as a prospective signing.
I actually don't know much about Antonio Nusa, so I can't say for sure. I forgot to mention. Somebody said Eze starting.
Yes.
I don't want another player with hamstring problems. Eze just had a hamstring injury, and Spurs medical team, I have no faith in them. So no to Eze, simply because our medical team will not be able to keep him fit.
Do you know that Crystal Palace have now lost Elise as well?
Yeah, I saw that.
Elise is now gone as well. So it's just amazing, isn't it, as how many injuries have propped
Yeah.
up in the Premiership this year. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't heard of as many. There's probably injuries as well. No, in fact, in the EFL, I've not heard about many injuries in the EFL, and that's probably because I haven't got VAR. So VAR must have something to do with it, surely, because there's so many injuries in the Premiership. It's unbelievable, unbelievable.
I think definitely VAR has something to do with it. But I also think, the last 3 years have just been really hard on these players' bodies because the World Cup happened and then there were all of these international cups one after the other while they were playing cup football, like club football as well. Um, and on top of that, they have to deal with VAR, so their bodies keep heating and cooling and heating and cooling. So we're just putting so much pressure on people's bodies, and it's not all right. Like, there are so many things there are so many easy fixes to this. The first is that, let play continue while VAR makes a decision. You can pull it back later if it's a wrong decision, but just let play continue. Don't let these, like, the players' bodies cool down. And chet hampering a player's fitness is much worse than getting a decision wrong, because that's human life that you're dealing with, somebody's injury that you're dealing with. So that's one thing we can easily do. And the second thing is, I genuinely believe, I mean, I would just want VAR out of the game, but since it's here and we have to live with it, I genuinely believe that there are lots of decisions we can take out of VAR's hands. Just take the carding out of VAR, make the goals and everything a VAR thing. Take the carding out of VAR, because VAR doesn't have to be looking at everything 4 times. Make it just offsides, goals, that sort of thing. Because nobody has a problem with offsides. They're either in or they're out. Unless you do like the Liverpool game and make horrendous, stupid mistakes for no reason. But VAR didn't get that wrong. VAR showed that it was it wasn't offside. So it was not a VAR problem. Um, and so, I genuinely believe, like, and the international friendlies, why do we play international friendlies? It makes no sense to be playing them. England doesn't need to be playing Australia. I love both the teams, but they can play teams in their own continent for competitive matches. They don't need to be playing each other. I'm sorry. Just where, players can get injured, and it just makes no sense to me. Like, why does South Korea have to play Wales? South Korea and Wales can play people in their own continent competitively. I'm sorry. It makes for a great photo opportunity, but it has makes no footballing sense whatsoever. Just get rid of the international friendlies.
Fantastic, fantastic. That's it. Ash is let
I
loose
know.
today. Ash has got a lot to say. She's let loose, which we love. We love Ash letting loose. Uh, we have Daniel Lee saying, I think it's 13, mate. Yeah, possibly. As I said, 13 and 18 are the two numbers that are being bandied around. Mark Cousins is saying that he's meeting Gary Mabbott in 2 weeks and he's going to have a word with him. Is that about
Yes.
saying to Gary to come back to play centre half because we're short of centre halves? Or are you asking him to come back and fill in the sixth role because of our injuries? What is it, Mark? What are you going to ask him? Tell us. Tell us what you're going to have a word with him about. Um, Daniel Lee is also saying that there's been a lot of injuries in the women's football as well, especially ACL injuries. Now, I'm not sure whether there's been that many injuries in the women's football, but I do know that the predominant major injury that women do get, particularly, is ACLs. I think Ellie has commented on this before on our shows that the women are really susceptible. It's probably because of the makeup of a women's body.
Like, our pelvic bone is structured differently, and so when we are playing football, it puts a lot of pressure on cruciate ligaments, and that's why you see a lot of ACL injuries to women footballers. And so they're trying to, like, I think the problem is also that the sports science is geared to the men's bodies, and so they haven't discovered how to, like, strengthen, like, the strengthening exercises for the women's body should be different for the men than for the men's bodies. And so now they have to figure out the sports science on how to strengthen those ligaments so that there are less ACL injuries.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so there you go. So we have Ash there who's able to tell us all about that. But yeah, I know that Ellie's told us this before on streams. So you're quite right, Daniel. There are a lot of injuries, but
Yeah.
I don't have VAR. And I don't think it's particularly to do anything other than the makeup of a female body. To be honest, you have Rimesh saying we dodged the bullet twice in the summer window by not signing Ansu Fati in the summer. Also, Lloyd Kelly could have been a panic buy in the summer. Dragosin is much better.
That's if we get him.
Dragosin is much better. It's interesting. I've now seen Dragosin in a um, this is a Sampdoria outfit. I've seen him in a Juventus outfit, and I've seen him in a Genoa outfit. So yeah, he's on quite a few got quite a few
I think
outfits
he's
around.
in a Napoli outfit also somewhere. I
I
don't
know
know
that
why, but
I know Napoli were looking to bid for him, but they've stepped out, haven't they? So Daniel Lee saying only use VAR for FA Cup finals.
yeah.
Bill says referees are made to look worse because of VAR. They're so unsure of what would appear to be the most simplest of decisions. VAR is ruining the game. Now that could be a whole new stream of VAR. That honestly, because I don't think Ash, myself, or the majority of people that I speak to are in favour of VAR at all. Um, UEFA Champions League offside technology is much better than drawing these lines. We should bring that into the Premiership. Why not? ACLs happen when your foot is planted and you turn on your knee. You need to be on your toe to pivot. And then there is also a lot of less research for ACL for women. That means so. Hopefully, it's an uphill from here. Yeah, we hope so. We really do
What I
hope
was
so.
saying with sports science, there's less research.
And then you've got Mark Cousins, Gary for centre back, and to lift the cup for us again. That's what he's going to talk to him about. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, I have starred a
Could you
comment
ask him
here.
to captain as well? That would be useful. We need a captain as well, so that'll be
I
nice.
don't steal my thunder because I was going to come to that. Uh,
Oh no.
that's all right. So I've got a starred question, and it happened early on in the show, and I didn't bring it up. So for everyone in the chat, it's a quick fire poll for the viewers. Senora Garcia and Miss Palmaraj, will Richarlison score his sixth goal in his sixth consecutive appearance in all competitive matches? Yes or no? So I think what Chang is saying is, will Richarlison score his sixth goal tomorrow night against Burnley? So what do the chat think? Will he or won't he? Ash, I'll give it to you. Will he or won't he?
I mean, I suppose he will simply because who else will? Sunny's not there, and so 6 for 6. Yeah, I mean, he's our most likely goal scorer, so the probability looks pretty high.
I think that if he plays from the start, which I presume he will do, I don't think he's going to put Scarlett in front of him tomorrow.
Yeah.
um, I can see Richie scoring, providing he gets the service. I'm all with our audio. It was coming out of my mouth as you typed it. Providing he gets a service, I think Richie scores at least 2 tomorrow. Me personally,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I could see that.
you've got, so from the chat, who's coming on the chat? Um, just to say that who's news is saying, look up knee alignment exercises and you won't go far wrong. Quez Ali's saying 6 for 6. So he's agreeing. And audio says, I reckon there's a Richie Brace incoming. There we go.
Yeah, depends on how many we can score. I reckon we can score a bunch. I do. I do. I really want, what I really want is a Pedro Porro goal. I really, really want a Pedro Porro goal because it's just been incoming for a while now and it's just not happening for him. And I want the poor guy to score.
So we've got Rimanshu is asking, where are you guys from? Rimanshu, you're asking the people from the chat, or are you asking Ash and myself? If you can let us know, then we'll be able to answer. Hi, Josh. Big up to me and Ash. Hi, Josh. How you doing, mate? I hope everything's well. Just win the game is all Daniel Lee cares about.
Yeah,
Who's
I'm with
new
Daniel.
says Scarlett and Region add a bit more depth to the squad. Both got game time on loan. Scarlett didn't get any game time on loan near enough. He didn't even complete 90
Right?
minutes. He didn't complete 90 minutes as a total, I don't think, in the whole 3 months or 4 months that he was at Ipswich. Um, get me on one date if you want Gary Mabbutt stories. Thanks, Mark. You are a panelist that we do. You are in our group, so I will say to you that I've got a keep, bench, and sell special for the older people, because the older people would know who the players are that I'm putting in there, and I've made a really difficult one. And what I will say is, I want to do a show when Ellie's back fit and healthy, and have Ellie as part of the panel when I do this keep, bench, and West Ham. Mark, you're more than welcome to be there as well, because your age would be, you'd know the players that I'm referring
Are
to.
you calling Mark old?
Well, Mark is of a similar age to me and Ellie, so therefore he would know the players that I've put in there. So I'm looking forward to that. So Mark, yeah, we will reach out, but it's got to be when Ellie's better. I'm going to have a panel of older people, because they're the only ones that may appreciate the keep, bench, and West Ham that I've prepared for them. Going on to that, Sarr injury.
Um,
Did you
so
see the comments that have been made about it?
I mean, the last I heard, he was still going off to AFCON. Is that not true? Has
Yep,
that changed?
yep, he's going.
Uh,
He's been passed. It's miraculous, because I'll tell you what it says, and I couldn't understand it, Ash. So what it says is, it has today been confirmed that Pat Matassar will indeed travel to the Ivory Coast to join the Senegal squad for the African Cup of Nations after Tottenham midfielder was passed fit to play. It says the 21-year-old was celebrating again last weekend when he scored his first goal in the win over Bournemouth, but was forced off the field in tears shortly after an apparent injury. However, fears that Sarr would miss out on the AFCON this year have been allayed by a report from the Standard confirming that he's not picked up an injury and will head out to international duty for the tournament. Despite a hamstring scare at the weekend, Sarr has now been passed fit and travelled to the Ivory Coast earlier today to join the Senegal squad for the tournament. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because he looked really distraught when he came off the
yeah, I
pitch.
mean, maybe it was a hamstring like twitch the way I think Romero had he felt his hamstring, and then he was brought on the next game and he was fine, or next game or something once. So I maybe it's something like that, but honestly, maybe the weather was inclement and you feel the injuries more in the cold. So maybe he just felt like it was more serious than it was. I don't know. Like, I would rather that he rested himself so that he was fit for whoever he wants to play for. I don't think he should. I know that the Afcon is a big deal, as the Asian Cup is over here in Asia, but you know, as the Euros is in Europe. But I still think that whether you're playing for your country or whether you're playing for your club, you should only play when you're 100%. And so he should maybe be rested. Who knows? Maybe he'll just be on the bench and come on if they need him. Because Senegal has a pretty strong squad as well, so they should be fine even without him. So I hope that he looks after himself. He's young, so he probably thinks he's invincible, but he's not, and no player is. I hope that he realizes that and that somebody's telling him that.
So it's the medical team that have passed him fit? Is our medical team? You'd like to think. Okay, okay. I know. I can see your face already. You'd like to think that our medical team are full of experts that have done rigorous testing on him and have passed him fit. And it's not just. But then I will say, I saw a comment the other day in one of the chats. It could have been our one, to say that players would turn around and tell people what they feel they need to say in order to get them through to play a game. Now, to me, I could turn around and say to you, Ash, I'm 100% fit, right? But if the medical team are checking me over, then they should be able to see whether I'm fit or not. Do you think some players turn around and say to the medical team things that they think they want to hear?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, like I have no faith in our medical team. I honestly don't think, like, I'm one of those medical team out people. I don't care. I don't I'm one of those people who's, I'll tell you why. The problem lies in the fact that we outsource most of our medical issues. We don't have like our in-house medical team is not who deals with all the big injuries. When Matters has to recover, he goes to Dubai to sit in a whatever that is called, the
Oxygen
little,
chamber.
yeah, those chambers. Like when Harry Winks has a surgery on his ankle, he goes to Dubai to get his ankle specially treated or whatever. So clearly our response to medical team is go to Dubai and get it done. So clearly we need those doctors that are in Dubai. What why do we have the doctors in our medical team who clearly don't know what they're doing? uh, Everything from a simple x-ray to like scans, etc., we outsource. I think that because of that, what happens is that too many people involved in those decisions who are not a part of the club, and who are not seeing the players on a day-to-day basis, and the people who are seeing the players on a day-to-day basis, I think, are not good enough. I think we can do better. We can spend more on our medical staff because our players' safety and their fitness matters way more than anything else that we could be spending on. So yeah, put Daniel Levy, put more money into the medical team, find better people, because this is clearly not working. And the second thing I want to say is I do feel bad for them somewhat because there's no gauge for pain. The doctor can be like, on a scale of 1 to 10, tell me how much pain you're in. And if a player says 2, and you give them a painkiller and send them out, but the truth is, part of your job is pain management. And so if a player says 2, you should also sort of be scrutinizing what sort of player it is. If it's a player that really wants to play, then as most players do, then you should, even if they say 2, if they say any number at all, you should realize they're in a lot of pain.
So would you
um,
say? So would you say that Bentancur falls in that trap where Bentancur ran into the office 3 months ago and said, "I'm fit. I'm fit to play. My pain management is zero."
Yeah, I Bentoncourt definitely falls in that category. I love the man, but he wants to play all the time, and sometimes that's not good for him. And I also think that it's adorable, also, but it's players also. They feel like they play football since they were 6 or 7, so they're used to playing with aches and pains because they just like, let's just tough it out because we're tough players who like can play no matter what's wrong with us. But they don't realize that when you're 6 and 7, those little aches and pains can become really bad when you're 20 or 30 or 40. So
Spurs, like, so Josh is saying, Jose Ash, do you think there is a problem at Tottenham in the training with all the injuries? Well, Josh, we did say earlier that the injuries are just not limited to Tottenham. The injuries are happening everywhere in throughout the Premiership. We're now hearing that Elise is now out with an injury. So what I've seen this year is I've seen more injuries in the Premiership and lesser injuries in the EFL. And when I mean the EFL, yeah, obviously the Championship more than the first and second division. But in all them divisions, the amount of injuries that you hear about or are reported are far less than the Premiership, which leads me to believe that them other divisions don't have VAR. So there could be a synergy with VAR there. I mean, I'm not a medic, but there could be a synergy there. Anyone who sends Gary to West Ham will be timed out. Can I just say, Mark, the players I'm referring to are a lot older than Gary Mabbott, hence why I've said I need an elder crowd. Daniel, the injury was so close to the AFCON, so worried his AFCON might be over. So I get why he reacted like that. And then Daniel says the so-called great Spurs medical team.
I'm with Daniel. Daniel and I, we know we have the same We're on the same frequency.
Here he is again. Look, I believe that our medical team only use a bucket and a sponge.
Yes, Daniel, you have it right.
Some might play against India in the AFC Championship.
I mean, India will. That depends on India getting out of there. Yeah, I don't see this happening actually. Let's see. Let's see how we do in the Asian Cup. I don't have a lot of faith, but let's see. I always hope for the best. It'd be strange for me though not supporting Sunny in a match.
And good morning to Lee Smithy Smith. Morning, Lee. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're feeling better because you've been under the weather as well. So I hope you're feeling better as well, mate. And then you've got Shanata coming in. I thought Madder's Dubai thing was because of the temperature, but I could be wrong. And Riman Shu says, I want to see Phillips or Dorrington start against Burnley.
Yeah, me too.
We've got Mark Cousins saying, I don't want them as my doctor. And then Shanata saying, India and Australia are in the same group.
Yeah, I
So,
think so. I haven't checked the groups yet, but yeah, I think so. From what I heard on Twitter, I think.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly go. So, guys, for those people that are here today, obviously because Colin is moving house and we're doing this show now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring up, we do a prediction show. And obviously the round of games are finished. We didn't do a show yesterday, so we couldn't show you the predictions. So I'm going to quickly go to predictions and show where people are at and what people got this week. So for those that are, let me get rid of this banner, this comment, sorry. So for those of you that are new to the channel, we do predictions on the league games every week game day, and these are the predictions, the results for week 20. And I must say, the person who commands the biggest respect for this week is our Jim. Jim got 3 correct results and
That's
4
crazy.
correct predictions. So Jim has absolutely smashed this week. He got the star turn of the week. Other people who got a note, getting a notable mention are Michael Zachariah and Mark Cousins, who both entered this week. Both got 7 points each for the first week, which is pretty good going. They've actually overtaken some people already. And this has been running for about, I think we've been running this for about 9 weeks now. So I think we started on game week 9. So it could be 11 weeks we've been running this. So they've done really well because they've overtaken people already. Ash, looking at you, Ash, you got
I'm terrible.
you got 4. You got 4 correct predictions this week. So you've done well. You've done well. So sorry, the predictions are only league
Yeah,
games.
I got the game winners right, but not the predictions.
Yeah, you got 4 game winners. So Rimoshu, just to say, no, we do this on a game week, so it's the Premiership games. So we don't do it for the FA Cup. We do it for the Premiership games. So this is just to let people know what they did. So this week, Chris Meta Football did well. He closed the gap on me. He also closed the gap on Top Spurs, or he might have overtaken Top Spurs, because Chris got 2 correct scores and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 predictions and 2 correct scores, which scored him. So actually scored him 12 points. So he's done really, really well. And I think Jim scored 13 points. So they were the 2. But a lot of
Yeah,
people.
there's something to be said for experience, right? Like Jim, Adrian last week. Like generally, Mark is doing so well now. So I think there has to be something said for experience.
So with that being said, the league table. So I'm going to do the bottom to top. So we've actually got 44 people, or there might be more than that. Hold on. Was there more than 44? No, that's 44. Yeah, because I'm checking on my computer. There's 44. So already you can see that Michael and Mark only entered. They've only just entered, and they're already 37th or 38th. So they're ahead of other people
Wow.
already. Michael Zachariah is only ahead of you, Mark, on the virtue that he got 1 correct prediction. So 1 correct prediction, obviously, it's like goal difference, puts him ahead just on that alone. Other people that have moved up is Chan got points again this week. It's his 2nd week of doing it. Uh,
Yeah.
from looking at here, Scott M got a bunch of points as well. Jamie got a bunch of points and moved up. And then the top of the table, Ash P got points. Ian Meth was a big jumper. Ian Meth had a really good week. He was a big jumper as
I'm
well.
20. I'm 21st already. That's
Yeah,
amazing. I
that's
only
on it.
started like 3, 4 weeks ago as well.
Like I say, people can catch up on this quite quickly. Um, Julie was a faller this week. She's gone down. Adrian's jumped up. Smithy jumped up. Danny's jumped up. Wayne has jumped up. Collins dropped. Nita jumped. Jim certainly jumped. And Jim is actually only 3 points behind Kate now. Jim has made a real move up the table. Kate and Bobby have switched places. Beer Talk has maintained. Ellie is now 5th. Chris Peters has dropped points this week. Chris Meta has gained. He gained loads of points this week on both me and on Totspurs. And Totspurs is the person. Totspurs didn't do too badly, but that's the way that we stand at the moment going into this FA Cup break. The predictions will start again in next Friday, because it'll be next weekend's games. So it will start again next Friday. So for people that want to enter, you're more than welcome to do so. We will be doing this again next week. So that brings us up to date with that, which I said I would do. Yeah, Rim Shoes come 3-1 against Burnley. But as I said, we'll be doing it next week. And Mark says, I'm not getting sacked in the morning. Then Mark, no, you're not. No, you're not. Right, Ash, can you let me just go back to the banners again, and then we can talk about where is it? There we go. What are your thoughts?
I think eventually we'll get over the line, but it all depends on whether our wonderful Mr. Levy can get his, like if it's 4 or 5 million more or 10 million more, just pay it. Get the deal over the line. It's not that much money for Spurs, and if it's not, then move on quickly before it just drags on. I believe it will get done in the end. I just think that it won't get done in time for when we need him. And that's my problem with this, with the way we do transfers. If you have a target in mind, you've had the personal talks, and apparently all the personal agreements had been made. That's what, if I have to believe uh, Fabrizio Romano. So if all of that has been done, then all that was left to do was put Genoa down to a deal and sign the dotted line. And we couldn't even get that part across the line. So I'm really upset about this. I think it will be done, but it will drag on till the end of the transfer window now. So
Sorry, sorry. Right, here we go. So when do you think it'll be done then?
I think so my optimist brain says we should be able to do it before the United game, but I don't have faith in our transfers. So I have a feeling that it won't get done in time to register him, because he has to pass the fitness test, and then he has to be registered. All of that has to happen before the United game, and I don't think it's going to happen before it. I have
Really?
a sneaky suspicion that will happen after.
Okay. I on this one, I think he is here before the Man United game. I think this one's pretty close to being done. It just hasn't been done. It had to have been done 6 minutes ago and registered 6 minutes ago in order for him to play in the FA Cup or be considered for the FA Cup. So we've missed out on that. I've
Yeah.
got my personal belief is that this one will be done well in time for Man United, and I think that if it isn't done today or tomorrow, worst case scenario, it'd be done by the beginning of next week. Worst case scenario, it could even be done by the weekend. I I think this one's going to be done. I have no qualms about it at all.
That's what I thought as well. But his agent clearly is turning out to be one of those money grubber agents that double deals. So I have a feeling, maybe we don't deal well with these wily sorts. So I just, especially, like, I don't see, if it was Paratici, maybe we would deal well with these wily sorts. But it's not Paratici. So I have a feeling that our new age data science people won't really be able to deal with these wheeler and dealer old school sort of agents. So
Wheeler
uh,
and Dealer, old school. Fantastic.
yeah,
The
yeah.
terminology is brilliant. Uh, as I said, I think it'll be done quite. I think it's going to be done, and I don't think it's going to be one of these Pedro Porro situations because I think there were so many moving parts in the Porro last year. It was player, it was image rights, it was follow-on clauses, it was both clubs. There was so many different moving parts. I just don't think there's that many moving parts with the Dragusin deal. I just think it's a case of they're that apart at the moment. They're not that apart. They're just that apart on the price, and I think that could be done quite quickly. I prefer to see Romano's updates and Paul O'Keefe and Ben Jacobs and people like that, where I've been seeing their updates, rather than seeing an update from his agent who's talking absolute spout and waffle. So, but yeah, there we go. So we've got that's on the Dragusin deal. What we've got thereafter in the chat, because I've got something coming up, is we've got who's new saying injured footballers who skip a course of practice sessions before returning to full competition are more likely to aggravate their injuries or even develop new ones than those who are eased in gradually. And when it comes to the highest level of the game, professional matches have a sevenfold greater risk than practice ones for a returning player.
Good to know.
Romanshi saying, bye guys, was a great stream. Good to see more and more Indian fans. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. As you're well aware, has her own show on this channel called White Chat Lane. Not quite sure whether we're going to have an appearance this weekend or whether it will be the following weekend. That's yet to be decided. But if we do, we will let you know on the so hit the notification bell for either channel. You will find out when Ash's next White Chat Lane will be on. Obviously, we couldn't, but could we?
Could we?
Yeah.
It's the could we?
Yeah. Mark Cousins, we are at the monitoring stage now. Deal will be done for January 31st. Daniel saying, mate, this is Levy. He could take over 2 weeks to
Yeah,
haggle for another
exactly.
5 million
I'm
quid.
with Daniel. Daniel and I are agreeing on everything today.
For another 5 million quid, this deal ain't got. Here we go. By next Tuesday, he won't be playing against Man U. And then I was right when I said the other day that this deal won't be done by Burnley in time. Right. So I've been told that I've got to do this today on the show, and I will do. And it is the best internet game show, as I've been keep getting told by my co-host Colin, and that is Keep or West Spam, where we look at 3 players. So it's a keep, bench, and sell, and we look at 3 players: the one that you keep, one that you put on the bench, and one that you sell to West Ham. We like everyone in the chat. If people are not usually here, we'd like people in the chat to make their decisions as well as us. And with that, I've got to introduce the Keep and West Ham. Yes. It's Keep, Bench, or West Ham, the internet's favourite game show. I have to say this for my co-host who's not with us today, because that's what he tells me. That's how he introduces it all the time. And what I have for you today, Ash is going to love it, because it's me that picks them. So I think Ash will love it, and I think everyone in the chat will love it. Controversial? Maybe. I'm not sure. Let's wait and see. But Ash, this is what I have for you and for the chatters today.
Oh, I hate this game.
Yeah. So this is picked by my good self again today. So we have Jan Vertonghen, Musa Dembele, Dimitar Berbatov. Now,
I hate
usually
this game. They're not even the same position.
that's
They're
correct.
mentioned.
For the last couple of days, I've done three players that play in different positions, and they have been a defender, midfielder, and a striker for the last one I did, because that's the one we had Ledley King, Gareth Bale, and Harry Kane. But this week,
Yeah.
this for today's show, I've gone with these three. Um, so, what do you reckon, Ash?
Wow. I can't believe it. Boruto is one of my. Oh, I hate this game.
Okay, what I'll
Okay.
do, just while you're thinking, I'll come in and I'll just say that we have Audio Artisan. He said, keep Dembele, bench Jan Vertonghen, and sell Berbatov. We've got Mr. M here. Good morning, Mr. M. And while you're thinking, Ash, I'll just to read out his comments. Daniel Lee says, I remember someone put a bet on with Brian that he would sign in time. The bet was with Ian Meth. Ian Meth said that he bet Brian that he believed that Dragosin would be in by midnight on Wednesday, which was last night. So Ian Meth has lost the bet, as was announced on the Tottenham Cockle-Doodle-Doo Tottenham tour this morning. And Mark Cousins says live footage of Colin moving house. No, it was live footage of the keep benching with spam. And then you've got Mark Cousins is saying this is a cruel one.
Absolutely, Mark. This is a horrible one. Like Berbatov, he had that lazy way that it felt like he wasn't doing much, but then he would score, and it was just why it was wonderful to watch. But I'd have to. I think I have made a decision. I made a decision. I will stick by my decision, even though it hurts me.
Okay,
Um, I
let's hear it. Let's hear it and why.
I would keep Dembele. I would bench Jan, and I would sell Berbatov. I agree with Audio Artisan. Jan Vertonghen is my favorite Spurs player ever, ever. Like I love him the way Mark loves Mabel. But like I think that like obviously Musa Dembele is the better footballer. So keep Dembele, bench Jan, and sell Berbatov.
Okay. So why? What? Right. So you tell me about Dembele. Why are you keeping him? So why are you benching Jan?
So this is where my heart is over my head. I love Jan Vertonghen so much that I can't keep Berbatov. Like I can't bench Berbatov. Berbatov is a much better player technically than Jan Vertonghen. Possibly, he was possibly. We need strikers. Like we've had some great strikers at Spurs, but I think Jan Vertonghen is special. So I'm benching him and I'm selling Berbatov. Even though it hurts my heart to sell Berbatov. But I said sold Kane last time. So clearly I don't have a space in my heart for strikers.
So you have Mr. M saying Dembele is so underrated, criminally underrated. Daniel Lee's just Berbatov went on strike to leave Spurs, so it's easy for me to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Mark Cousins is going, got to keep Musa, bench Toby, and Berber to West Hampton. Do you know what? Everyone is more or less, look, keep Dembele, bench Verts, sell Berber. So although I've picked three players and people are saying it's cool and that, everybody so far that I can see from the chat and yourself, Ash, have all gone exactly down the same route. Exactly down the same route. I need to pick harder ones. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to pick harder ones, I think. God.
Yeah. It would have been funner if Berbatov was also Belgian. Because the other two are, right?
Um, yes, they are. Yeah, they are Belgian, but we haven't had a Belgian striker, have we? Unless
Yeah.
I put Nasser Chadley in there.
Oh yeah. But that wouldn't be much of a competition.
No, I don't think it would, to be honest. Um, and I think we've done one in the past when we put Vertonghen in alongside Toby, and I think it was Carl Walker that we did. We did three of the back four of our
Oh,
famous
right.
back four, and I think
Oh, you,
Toby. God,
you should do one that's Argentinian. You should have like Aussie and who we have. Yeah, can't put Ricky Villa in. I would take Aussie over him. Um, like you
Lamella,
can come up.
you got
Oh yeah,
Lamella.
yeah. No, but then Lamela wouldn't make the cut. I would take Aussie over him any day. It has to be hard, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
Romero.
if you look at if you're looking for Argentinians, you've got Romero, Lo Celso, Veliz, Ozzy, Ricky, Juan Foyth.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there are other players, Lamella. Yeah, there are other players. You've got quite a few Argentinians that have played for the club. So, but yeah, it seems to be that it was quite an easy one this week or today
yeah,
because a lot of you have said the same thing, which is interesting. Which is interesting. Um, you've also got Ben Blackman saying, "Can Ange get Dembele back?" That's the question. Do you know what? Was it yesterday or the day before, Ash, when I did a show? I actually asked the question, didn't I? Would you take Dembele at 36 back from? Is he playing from Guangzhou? I think he's playing.
yeah.
Uh,
He's playing for somewhere in China.
would you play? Would you bring them? It's just I just thought so. 36-year-old Dembele, even playing on one leg like Ledley did. He's not as good as Ledley on one leg, but even a slower down version of Dembele playing as a number six.
Yeah,
Um,
I reckon just for Jan till they come back.
it
Two
could
games, not much.
Could he do a job over Skip or Pierre Emil Hoiberg the way things stand now?
I mean, I don't rate Højbjerg and Skip, but that's just 36-year-old Musa Dembele. Um, poor man. I rate the guy very highly, but I don't think somebody playing in China is as fit as somebody playing in the Premier League at the highest level, no matter how bad they are.
Possibly. I agree with you. Um, however, one can dream, can't they?
Yeah,
It's just looking at. I mean, you've followed Tottenham now for about 20 years, and it's if you could pluck players from your 20 years and add them to this squad now to improve us, then Dembele is definitely one person. You put him in there. He is your monster number six. You'd put him in there straight away, wouldn't you? But there are other players as well over 20 years that you could possibly pick and put into this side as well, couldn't you?
yeah. I wouldn't mind Berbatov in the team. I think he's the kind of striker we do well with right now. That might be a good shout. Uh, yeah, Toby's passing. I mean, I would kill for a defender who can pass like Toby, especially because we need that one. Sometimes in the late stages of a game, it'd be nice to have somebody who can throw in a pinpoint pass up front. So yeah, there are a bunch of people you can pick out from like the older Spurs. Ledley King, if we can get him as centre back, I would kill it. Even on one knee, he's better than everyone we currently have, especially that four fullback back line.
Yeah. So
So
so if you could just morph players and say, look, in your prime, I'll take a Ledley King from 2008
yeah.
and put him into my team now. I'll take a Gareth Bale from
Oh yeah,
2011
that would be
and
amazing.
put him across. I'll take a Harry Kane from whatever year and put him in. I'll take a Dembele
And
from this
Van de
year.
Vaart.
Yeah, we could imagine the squad in different times and
Oh
different eras. Imagine the squad Tottenham could have had. But then you could say that about a lot of teams, couldn't we? So, at the end of the day, dreaming, I believe, is quite good. So, uh, but yeah, Ben, God, wouldn't have that been sublime if we could have had a Dembele back? Um, you've got Danny saying, how comes Berbatov gets praised by the fan base, yet went on strike to leave Spurs and was here just over 2 years? Hugo Lloris gets criticised by the fan base for a Newcastle game for 12 years. Fickle bunch supporters from clubs are, Daniel. You should know this because you can see what comments people all put, and everyone's entitled to comments, but others put comments in, you know, not necessarily that we agree with the comments that other people put in, Daniel, but yeah, everyone has opinions. So yeah, where you might not like Berbatov for one reason or don't agree with one reason, there's other people that you find other people may agree. So it's just all about
Yeah,
people
and
people.
strike to leave thing, a lot of players seem to now have adopted this model. They'll come late for their training after the summer because they're pushing for a move, and they won't turn up for training, or they'll not turn up for like selection or for games or pre-season games, these type of things, because they're pushing for a move. You've signed a contract, do your job. I'm not the kind of person who excuses that sort of behavior just because you're up for a transfer. But I will say that when Berbatov was leaving Spurs, we were a different club than we are now. Uh, and it was Lloris, it was mid-game. It wasn't even like he went on strike at the start of the season so we can find someone or put somebody else in, or he went uh, on strike because the like season was coming. He just refused to come out at halftime. So I have no clue what happened in that dressing room. But and Lloris is supposed to be our leader. He's our captain. It's very different. I think it's very different. It's not comparable, the two situations.
Yeah. So you've got all the artists saying, I'd only bring Dembele back now as a coach nowadays. Mark Cousins is saying, don't even mention Musa in the same breath as PH and Skip. sorry, Mark. Mr. M says Dembele is a King Gaza. Mr. M also saying Edgar Davids and Van der Vaart. Mr. M has come in with, and this is a possible now. I'm going to
Yeah.
speak to Ash and Colin and see whether we can get a show together where we can do a Spurs Ultimate 11, and whereby my thought process in my head is saying that between Ash, Colin, and myself, we pick 5 players for every position, and then what we do
You know
is
what?
put it.
I think would be a good idea though. Like even though like Colin and I would probably have a lot to add, is that you do when you do that older people show with you and Ellie and Mark, and that's when you make that 11, because you all have seen football like with Spurs for so long and you remember so many players. So I think it would be an amazing 11. That would be an amazing 11.
But then what I'm saying is, if we get together, our heads together, and pick 5 players for every position, and then put it out to the chat
Oh
and
yeah.
say, and then we vote on who people want, and the one who gets the majority votes gets the place in the team. So,
Yeah.
Mr. M, that's a good idea, and I think in the back room of Talk and Ball, we will discuss this, and we'll probably get a show there doing the best 11. Yeah, we'll probably think of doing that. Who's new saying Musa Dembele retired on Monday? Well, if he did, I never knew
Oh,
nothing about it.
get him in free agent.
If he retired, that's confirmed. I've not seen anything anywhere to say that he retired, and I've got no reason to doubt you, who's news. But if that's the case, then by one hand of me says thank you very much for what you've done in your career, and I wish you all the best in your new future endeavours. Or Ash is come to us. You're on a free transfer. 2 ways of looking at it. Antonio Nusa, he was mentioned earlier from Club Brugge, would be a good bet from Belgium. You've got Danny saying Berbatov left us just after we won a trophy, and he's also coming saying Robbie King left in the same summer. Has Berbatov, and he went right way about leaving the football club. Yeah, this is when he went to Liverpool. So yeah, I understand what you're saying. We're coming towards the end of this show. Oh, here we go. Sorry. So we've just got Chris Peters just joined us. Afternoon, Jose and Ash. This is a bit early. Chris, we were saying earlier that the reason why I've done this is because we didn't do a show yesterday because Colin has got his keys and was started to move into his new house yesterday. So a show wasn't done yesterday. So I asked Ash if she would do one this morning, which is more akin to our times because I'm back at work next week. So just to get a shout out today, because I'm not sure whether we'll get a shout out at 4 o'clock, because I'm not sure on what Colin's movements are today. Obviously for Colin, it's like 6:27 in the morning at the moment, and after he's actually moving and he's still working at the same time. So I'm not sure whether we'll get a shout out today at 4 o'clock. So I thought just to get some content out, we'll get a shout out now. tomorrow. So you'll have to watch to see whether we get one out at 4 o'clock. And tomorrow, I'm not sure whether we'll get a 4 o'clock one out tomorrow, or whether I'm going to do another one if Ash agrees. We can do another one at this time again tomorrow, just to get a show, some content out there for people to comment on. But that's the reason why we've come on today a bit earlier. Just have to watch out for the notification bell. If Colin decides to come on, then he will do so. But at the moment, as I said, 6:27 in the morning, and I'm not going to go and badger him about it. So just to go back to where we were at the start of the show, we're all sending out positive and warm thoughts and well wishes to Ellie to get well soon, because she's not very well at all. So yeah, we all our best wishes go to Ellie, and also to Chang. We send out our best wishes to him as well, and we hope that he gets better soon. And for all the people watching, you probably know this gig already. Most of you are regulars. Is that if you are watching this here at Talk and Ball, can you go over and hit a like or even subscribe to the dual streaming channel, which is Intl Cockerel. And then if you're watching it on Intl Cockerel, come and subscribe to Talk and Ball. I've got a couple of people, Chris Peters, because you've joined, and David Shear. Big up, David. Great supporter of all Tottenham channels. Because you've both joined us now. Excuse me. We've just finished playing not so long ago our world famous keep, bench, and sell game, where you keep one player, you bench another player, and you sell a player. And because you've just joined us now, I'm gonna repeat. Is that okay with you, Ash? Yeah, we'll just repeat the keep, bench, and sell. But before I do that, as in traditional style for Colin, I'm gonna give you the intro and do the keep, bench, and sell again. So, as Colin would tell you, that is the world famous introduction to the world famous best Tottenham game show on YouTube. As Colin would say, he's not here to say it, so I'll say it for him. I'm paraphrasing. And today, for those that have just joined us, we have these three players. So you've got to keep one, bench one, and sell one. So, especially for Chris and David, who have just joined us, if you want to partake, who is it, guys, that you are keeping in your team? Who are you putting on the subs bench? And who are you selling to West Ham? So we've got Jan Vertonghen, Moussa Dembele, and Dimitar Berbatov. David Shears said he really loved Sandro and Defoe. Sandro and Defoe are not on this list today. They will be on a future list, and they have been on past lists, but they're not on this list today. It was quite, I'm not sure whether you guys, I don't think you were watching earlier when we did this, but it was a clear cut from both Ash. I didn't answer because I obviously bought it. I raised the keep, bench, and expand myself. So
the smart thing that Jose does, where he just like makes other people go through this trauma of having to pick their players, and then he gets away scot free because he's made the list. Oh, I made the list, so I don't have to give any answers.
So therefore, yeah, I don't have to give any answers on this because I made it up. It's unfair because I've got an unfair advantage because I created it all.
Yeah.
So if Chris or David would like to have a go, Chris or David Shear, I've only brought it up for you guys. Who would you keep? Who would you bench? And who would you sell to West Ham? And for any reason, you can have your own reasons to why. It could be like who fits the team now, or who your favourite players of Tottenham yesteryear have been. It's all up to yourselves. So that is your keep, bench, and whisper. And I don't think I'm getting any comments back.
Oh well, that everyone's probably thinking because it's a hard.
Oh, Chris Peters is coming. Chris Peters is coming. So Chris's choice on this is, oh, Chris Peters is keeping Jan, he's benching Musa, and he's selling the Judas. Right, so David, just for you, what we do is we do a segment called Keep, Bench, and Sell. So these three players on screen at the moment are Jan Vertonghen, Musa Dembele, and Dimitar Berbatov. If you, in your opinion, for your support through Tottenham and for your liking of these players, what player would you keep at Tottenham? What player would you put on your bench as a sub? And what player would you sell to West Ham? So it could be for any reason particular to yourself, David. It could be because you like the players. It could be the system to fit now. Absolutely anything. But out of these three players, who would you do? So David Shear's come in with. He would keep Vertonghen. He's benching Dembele and getting rid of Burbs. So the two people that have just played now, David and Chris, they've picked exactly the same, Ash.
Yeah.
Whereby earlier on, sorry, Ash, but by earlier on though, Ash, when we did this earlier on, we had a slam dunk earlier, didn't we? And it was the other way round.
I think it might have been because of us waxing lyrical about Musa Dembele. Everyone was just like, how can we not play him now? So it could have been us that made people bias.
I've got David Shear saying, mate, this is so unfair.
Yeah, I hate this game. This game sucks. This game is the worst.
Really?
You made me so Kane and Berbatov.
Ooh. I thought I'm trying to see whether I've got one from the other day, because the other day was an even harder one, I think. But I can't find it. I don't know where he's put it, so I can't find it. But if I found it, then if you think this was unfair, David, you want to see the one I did the other day. You've got Mr. M laughing, and he's a beast though than Bailey. Mark Cousins saying that Musa was a rocking midfield. David Shear saying that great minds think alike with Chris. As I said, it's interesting. You both have only just joined now and had a go, and you both did Vertonghen in the order of Vertonghen, Dembele, Berbatov. When we did this earlier, I think about 10 people, including Ash, commented, and it was the other way around. It was keeping Dembele, benching Vertonghen, but everybody that's taken part has sent Berbatov to West Ham. So,
yeah, go on, Berbatov, get out of here.
Yeah. So, yes, it's gone quite well. So I think the final thing is to ask you two things. I've got to ask you is, who captains us on Friday, Ash?
It's obviously going to be Ben Davies, but I would really want it to be Bentancur. Please let the captain gods think Bentancur. And let's have you do what you're supposed to do and make the unconventional choice. It has to be Bentancur, but yeah, it's probably going to be Ben Davies. I will support him because he's a steady Eddie. He might not be a bad captain, and I suppose his English is better, so that's good.
Do you not think the English that Bentancur has is very good?
No, it is, but the captain is the only person now the new rules are the captain is the only person who can speak to the ref, and
Just
so
want
if we're
to
making
Right, just so you know, Ellie, we've been doing this all throughout the show. Get well soon, Ellie.
Well,
Right,
soon, Ellie.
and but we've done this all throughout the show for you, darling. And guess who's here, Ash?
Oh, Ellie's here. That should come with a drum roll. Ellie's here.
Yeah, Ellie, we've been saying it all throughout the show to get well soon for you, darling. And also, we've been doing it for Chan because Chan's not well either. Um, but yeah, it's really, really good to see you there, Ellie. There you go. You've got to get well soon from Chris Peters. So that's saying Dave's captain's Wales just seems pretty fair. You've got to get well soon from Shanata. And David Shear is, hey, Ellie, good to see you, Cobbett. So yeah, so the two people in our community that are currently not very well is Ellie, as we said, and Chang. So we wish you both all the very best in your recoveries to get well soon. So going back to the captain, I am wholeheartedly 150% behind what you said, Ash. I think I made it my feelings clear non-stop about Bentancur. I would have him as captain. I think, English or no English, I think people look up to Bentancur, and you see people's games change when they have Bentancur in the team.
Yeah.
People know that they don't have to be on tenterhooks. They don't have to be, oh, what's going to happen next, and that they know what they're going to get with Bentancur. And I think that he rubs off on absolutely everybody in the team. I would love to see him as our captain tomorrow. However, I think that you might be right in the sense that he may go with Davis. I don't know whether it's a language thing or just for the time that he's been at the club and for the servant
Yeah.
that he's been. But Ange's no fool. Ange knows a footballer when he sees one because he sees football through his eyes only, doesn't he, Ange? He says. So I'm hoping that his eyes tell him that Bentancur is the man. Bentancur is the man. And then the other thing is that with that being said, what do you think the score is going to be tomorrow?
Score. It's confusing one because Sunny's not there to score, but I still think we went 4-2. I think it'll be 4-2.
4-2 to Tottenham.
Yeah, I reckon I reckon if we play well, I can see Richie getting a brace. And that Pedro Porro goal is going to come from somewhere. It's going to happen. It's just waiting in the wings, clearly in the wings. But
So
it's going to happen.
if you're saying 4-2, are you saying it on 4-2 because you think Foster's in goal?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, the two is Foster, all Foster.
I my prediction, and the thing is, I've not seen a presser or anything at all. I don't even know that they do pressers for FA Cups. But
No, they do. I think they do. Don't they do?
oh, do they? Okay. Well, if they do, then the presser's got to be today at some stage. It has to be today because the game's tomorrow. If they do a presser, then I'd like to see the presser. But before seeing the presser, I stand by what I said on Cockle Doodle Doo this morning. Is that my belief is that Company and Burnley, with Luton winning and picking up points, Luton are now 4 points in front of Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
Luton have now reached the stage that they're touching Everton and Brentford. So they're within a mix between them two at the moment. And I think that with that in mind, Company and Burnley will probably put their eggs in the basket of staying in the Premiership. And I feel that they may make more changes than Tottenham for tomorrow's game. And with that being said, if we go out with the strongest side, I would still like to see Donnelly given a chance tomorrow. I'm one of Dorrington or Phillips, if not both. But apart from that, I want to see Lo Celso playing. I want to see Benny playing. I want to see Kulu playing because we're going to need him anyway because Son's gone. and I want to see our fullbacks playing. I want to see Vicario in goal. If we had room for them three youngsters and stuck out our first elite other players around them, I can only see us winning 4 or 5 nil tomorrow.
Do we have five subs in the FA Cup as well?
Yeah, you can make 5 substitutions. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, they didn't. It wasn't just a Premier League rule, right? It's across the competition.
Do you know what I think it is? But I'm going to check it as you're talking.
Because if it's five subs, then I want to see all the kids come on at some point. As long as we're winning, I'd like to see Don. I'd like to see Don Lee for 10, 15 minutes. I'd like to see because I don't like the fact that Don Lee warms up every game and then doesn't get in. It makes me feel bad for the lad. So I'd like to see Don Lee come on for a little while. I'd like to see either Phillips or Dorrington get in. With I feel like this is the game. They should bring him on along. So I'd rather see Dorrington because he's right sided along with Davies, so it'd be right and left. It makes sense in my head. So I'd like to see that. But apart from that, yeah, I want to see Lo Celso in there. I want to see Benton Kerr in there. All of our big players. But don't you think, Jose, that Burnley don't have to worry so much about this game being tiring their players out because there's so much time between this game and the next? It'll just be a once a week thing, right?
Yeah, it will be. It will be a once a week thing, but I just think that with the league, he probably he doesn't get time to rotate the team in the league games. Yeah. So and although they've been playing once a week, the same as us, they've been playing once a week. I do think that they still rotate. I do. They got far too. Their squad, we're talking thin, is our squad. Their
Yeah.
squad, there's a lot of players. I mean, I remember Benson. Benson was one of their players in the championship last year. Benson hasn't had a look in yet this year, so he's got players that did the jobs for him coming up in the championship that he's not given a chance to so far this year, and that's why I think that he's gonna give them an opportunity tomorrow. But then, as I said, for me, I need to be seeing, and I do. I honestly need to be seeing Vicario in goal. I need to be seeing full on Porro Udogie. Your centre
Yeah.
backs, your centre backs. I would like to see one, if not both, of the youngsters play, providing that you then have Lolo and Monito. Like Monito is Lo Celso, Lolo and
Yeah.
Monito in the midfield with and I. You can either play Kulu in the 10, but then that means that you're going to play Hill, Richarlison, and Johnson, or you put Donnelly in the 10 and you play with Johnson, Richie, and Kulu. I'd like to give them both a chance. Well, at least two of the youngsters a chance. But I don't. But I want to see Vicario in goal as well. I don't want to go half-hearted at this. I don't want to go
Mhm.
half-hearted. I want to go full pelt. Let's get the win. Let's get into the fourth round, and then let's concentrate on Man United. It gives us a week on the training pitch to concentrate on Man United and bring in our injured players back. The interesting thing
Yeah.
is I asked a question earlier on Cockerel Doodle Doo. I asked Stel, um, Rez, and Brian the question while we were on there. I just said, "Do you think?" And my question was, "Do you think Mickey van der Ven will be back tomorrow?" Because we were surprised about Lolo coming back and
So,
playing. Right. Well, Mickey van der Ven has been back in training. He's been back on the pitch for a week in the training pitches. So, is there going to be a surprise there or not? What do you think?
um, I think if he does come on, I don't think it will be for the whole 90 like Benton Kerr because there are players that can play that position. I think we were pretty thin in the midfield when Benton Kerr came on because, just Skip doesn't cut it, at least not for me, not in that position, definitely. So, but I think there are just enough now. There are because the youth players have come in, there's enough backup there that we don't have to play risk Van de Ven if we don't want to. Maybe we'll see him in the last 10, 15 minutes to sort of get him going for the United game. I think that might be more the case also because like Bentoncourt's initial injury was very serious, but this injury that he got uh, after coming back wasn't that serious. Whereas with Van der Ven, it's a hamstring thing, and we have to be careful with those because those can be recurring.
Yeah. So you've got David Shear saying Foster for Burnley seems a good little player for Burnley. Yeah, I know that's
Yeah.
the four that Foster, that they've got. Audio is saying, I have a feeling Hill is going to have his best game in a Spurs shirt tomorrow, 4-1
I
to
hope
Tottenham. David Shearer said, this photo I have called, the photo I have is called
so. Oh,
Nature's
wow.
Window at Kabari. I haven't photoshopped it at all, as it's a wonderful country. Good
Wow, it's
afternoon,
a good photo.
Ken62. Good afternoon. Big up Jose and Ash. I'm going for a 3-1. Ricky, Lo Celso, Johnson. David Shear is 100% Ash. Well said. Good afternoon, Tequila. He's a mod on my channel.
Yeah,
Um,
he has a gaming stream of his own. I checked out a few
yeah,
videos. They
yeah,
were
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, if you want, Tequila, put your link on here, please, so people can go to your gaming stream. No problems whatsoever. Yeah, so put it on here. Okay, Eltel, pretty Eltel as well. uh, David Shear, I wouldn't have Chris if in my and we've got Chem62. Get well, Ellie, sending healing vibes. David Shear, I felt Ange is doing it to Levy, so Levy needs it to back Ange. What do you think? I feel Ange is doing it to Levy, so Levy needs to back Ange. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there's any Spurs fan who disagrees with the fact that Levy needs to back Ange. I think Levy just sort of lucked into Ange. I don't think it was a case of Levy putting a trust in a manager and being like, oh, this is the guy for the job. It was more of a few of the previous guys he wanted didn't want us back, and he lucked into Ange, and it was just one of the stroke like that giant stroke of fortune that hit our club had nothing to do with Levy's competence. But now that he has lucked into him, he should realize that he has a good thing and back him.
Mm-hmm. I've got Ellie saying Benny is like Berbatov, such a great touch, is sublime, and he's got more pace on top. I know they play different positions, but his physique and that touch and movement are so similar. Whose News is
Yeah.
saying to us that Benton, Call of Saliso, Johnson, Hill, Richardson, Cooley should provide good cover for the AFCON and Asian Cup. Burb had a touch like no other from Tequila. Here we go. We've got all the people about medicines. So Ellie, Vicks in boiling water, huh? Towel over the head works wonders.
Yeah.
Ellie's saying, thanks, David. Much love. Whose News is saying, now with Dane Scarlett added to the mix as an extra player, an extra attacker. David saying hello to Tequila. Ellie's thanking Kem. Right, here we go with this Shanata. Shanata's saying, people on Twitter have been saying that the training videos are a little sus because they're zoomed in, maybe hiding some players that are at the back. Ooh, I don't know.
Mm.
I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything. Audio is saying that Mickey could be on the bench. Ellie Tequila, I just feel Benny had that too, and his close control and quick swivels were
Yeah,
sublime.
I agree with you.
Who's new saying, I think Ange plays VDV first chance he gets. Interesting. You got Ellie saying hi to David. Tequila's going to put his link up, which he's just done, which I'll show people. Who's News says he reckons that Spurs will win 2-0. David Shear, Jose, I'd love to be on one in the future. We can get that done, Mr. Shear. That's not a problem at all. We can get that done. Tequila, about 40% better now. If that's how you are, then I'm hoping that that's good, because I did message you this morning. I have not looked at my phone. It's been on charge, Ellie, so I did touch base with you this morning. So
Yeah,
I look forward
that's
to looking at that.
15% up from yesterday. So that's great news. It was 25%, I think, yesterday. So 40% is great news, Ellie. Waiting till it reaches 100.
And then you've got David said, not playing the kids, so Levy has no excuse to backhand. And here is Tequila's gaming channel. So yeah, Tequila's got a gaming channel. So people are more than welcome to go and see what offerings Tequila has. He's a great person in the community. Please go and support Tequila. And it's there. He's at the Play Pouch. You've got David Shear saying this isn't Angie's first rodeo. Yeah,
Yeah,
true. Um, David Shear saying there is a player in Johnson.
I agree with this.
You're probably better off pronouncing this name.
Mrityunjay Balodi.
And he says, if it keeps on raining, Levy's going to break. He's going to break his purse. We hope so. We hope so. Mark Cousins saying, same as when Potts came in, he wasn't the first choice either. David Shear, my middle name Ellie is R for Rex, so I'm Dr. Shear. Ellie saying, I'm in bed, so resting with my pillow propped up and enjoying the show and all the great banter in the chat. David, good man, love Dr. Rex. And then you've got, oh no, Tequila, no worries whatsoever, mate, no worries whatsoever. You're more than welcome, mate, you're more than welcome. And Ellie's saying, my prediction is 4-1 to Tottenham. We're going to smash them. Now, we've got this gentleman in the chat, which I can't pronounce his name, so I won't. So I can let Ash say that. Mrityunjay. There we go. I got it because I said it straight away. We've got Ellie and we've got Tequila. What we did is we did a keep, bench, and West Ham earlier. If you'd like to take part, I'm just going to show you the players that we did earlier. So what you need to do is you need to pick one player that you'd put in your team, one player that you'd put as a substitute on the bench, and then also one player that you would then get rid of to West Ham. And today's picks are Jan Vertonghen, Moussa Dembele, and Dimitar Berbatov. Out of them three players, to the new people that have just joined, we're going to repeat this one again, is what three players, from these three players, which one would you keep in your team as a starter? Who would you put on the bench as a sub? And who would you sell to West Ham? As this is Colin's show and his baby, Colin loves West Ham so much that he's quite happy to sell players to West Ham. And I say that tongue in cheek. Tequila's come in with, right, Tequila's saying he's keeping, or Tequila's different. Tequila's saying he'll keep Berbatov, he'll bench Jan, and he'll sell Dembele. This
Maybe
is totally
because of the injury record, Tequila? Injury record?
He's saying, sorry, Dembele, I feel so bad.
Yeah. How can somebody sell Moussa Dembele? Tequila!
Yeah, but Tequila, yeah, it's weird because you know yourself, Ash, when we're in the chat on the shows, there's only 250 words that we can type, so we couldn't get our answer out even if we wanted to.
Yeah.
Daniel Lee is saying Tequila has been on the Tequila, I think. David Shearer is saying, geez, Tequila, I'm out. Tequila saying, I love Burbs that much. And this team, Burbs, so many goals. And Mrityunjay has said, to be honest, haven't watched much of Spurs before 2015. Heard Berbatov and seen his videos. So keep.
I think it's keep Berbatov, bench
Berbatov,
Dembele,
bench Dembele, sell Vertonghen. But right now we need Vertonghen. And this is what I say to everybody. everybody has a different opinion on who they're going to keep, who they're going to bench, and who they're going to sell. And it depends on the questions being asked, and it depends on how you deem the question being asked. Because some people would look at it and give their answer on right here, right now in our team. This is what will fit us, currently now. And some people may think of it on yesteryear of when they've watched these players play, what they prefer, the positions that the players have played, and how they prefer, what they did for Tottenham. Some people view it on loyalty to the club. So there's different ways that people can answer this, and it's always interesting to see how people think about this answer. Ellie, I've not had an answer from you yet. We've had 2 out of 3 of you answered, and Ellie has not answered yet. But what I will come to is we've got a question here as well, but we've also got David Shear saying, love our Spurs community, all of you content creators. Geez, you guys in the UK, us Aussies, and Ash from Goa, it is brilliant. We go further afield than that, David. We go further afield than that. You got Paul the Hotspur hippie, great content creator, and he does it for the Australians, for the Tottenham community. Absolutely brilliant.
Not to forget our call from America.
Yeah, I was just about to say we've got Ash the Hotspur hippie, then we've got Colin, Jacob, and quite some considerable amount of content creators from North America. Bobby Kay, Brian Daigle. You've got quite a few out in North America. And I'm not naming everybody, but I'm just saying you have quite a few. There's a lot more, in fact. And then we've also got our content creators from Malaysia. So another big supporter of the channels, Chan, another person that we wish good health to, and we hope he gets better soon, because we'd like to see him back on our screens. But you've got Spurs Asian, you've got Eugene as well. So you've got Spurs are worldwide. And we try to get as many people on from throughout all the continents onto our show, because, at the end of the day, we believe that the word should be spread, and, and everyone should have a voice and have an opinion, regardless of where you are from in the world, because the one common thread is we all love Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah.
I've questioned one
Global
here.
domination. It's gonna happen.
Ellie is the only person. Ellie, I've kept these 3 up just for you. So Ellie, when you get the moment in the chat, put in who you would keep, bench, and sell. And we're looking at Jan Vertonghen, Moussa Dembele, and Dimitar Berbatov. And I'm going to take that off for a second, so we were looking for, because the chat has gone away from me again. So I've got a question that I've marked, and that's coming from Shanata. So we will ask that in a second. Tequila says his answer was thinking more of what would fit the current team. Mark Cousins, this is a disgrace. If I was on the channel, I would have timed him out.
What tequila?
David Shear, imagine Vertonghen coming back to coach Phillips and Dorrington. God, wouldn't that be?
Oh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ellie saying we have a Greek Aussie manager that connects you and I, David, too, as you are a doctor and I wanted to be a doctor. We are closer than the connection is uncanny. Tequila says, yeah, I'm doing it based on right now. And
Yeah,
David Shear says there are no wrong answers, which is correct. It's everyone's opinion. Ellie saying my streaming nose has stopped. Thank God, Ash too. It's good to hear.
That's great to hear, Ellie.
David Shear saying, my God, I wish I'd watched Clive Allen's brilliant year. I definitely remember seeing the highlights. So this is Clive Allen's 48-goal season.
Yeah.
David Shear, there is Jose. I have Brian on Face Chat, and they have me on screen very briefly. Ben and Brian, when I was having my birthday on WhatsApp. Fantastic. David saying good night to the sheriff, and David Shear saying only in name, Ellie. 49. Mark Cousins is telling me it weren't 48, it was 49. Sorry, Mark. You might be slightly, just a tad bit older than me, but I doubt it. But I'm just going to say that because if I'm saying 48, then your memory's a bit longer than mine. So that's what I'm going to say on that. yeah. So with that, I was going to say we've gone through what we think the prediction is going to be. We've gone through who we think the captain is going to be. Um, we also asked the question, and I'm going to ask the question just again for these people: is we've answered already, so you'll have to watch the start of the show. But who is our executive chef panel? Who's doing all our cooking at the moment? And that's what I'm going to ask. Who's doing all our cooking at the moment? Who's our who's our main chef at the moment?
Yeah, Chad, get to answering. Do you think it's Langer? Do you think it's Paratici? Do you think it's somebody is
Mun,
Munn?
McDermott.
Do you think it's McDermott? Like, who's running behind the scenes doing the transfers? Who can we blame right now for all of this dragging?
Yeah, and you've got to keep saying Clive is a good dude. Always has a good word for Spurs in the media over here. True, true. I was a bit inebriated, unfortunately. So embarrassing. I'm out. Nah, everyone's entitled to have a bit of fun, mate. Everyone's entitled to have a bit of fun. Nita, I had to go out. I watched what I missed later. Just did an hour's journey, and I will get back to you with the stats, Jose. No, no worries whatsoever, Nita. You're good. You're good. Eddie's saying keep Dembele, bench Berbatov, and Yan to West Ham as they are defensive and they would love Yan. Like I said, everyone's had a different answer to this, haven't they?
Yeah.
It was clear cut at the beginning, Ash. Everyone had gone. The first nine all went the same way. It was in order of keeping Dembele, benching Vertonghen, and selling Berber. The next two people that came on switched around the keep and play, but Berber was the man going out. Since then, we've got all these people that have just joined us, and they've all come in and they've all given us different opinions, which is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, lots of Berber love now happening in the chat.
Yeah, he is Tequila. Both is brilliant. So Tequila's saying Don's still doing the cooking, though hush hush. Don't speak too loud. Don't want horse's head in my bed tomorrow.
Don Paratici.
And then you've got Shanata says Paratici, the smooth criminal.
Yeah, yeah. Now the song is in my head. Thanks, Shanata.
David Shear saying Lange and Munn and Paratici, way too many moving parts there. Oh, it's to sell Yan then, as the other two were exceptional attacking forces, and I love the excitement that they gave me. I still
Yeah,
love Yan
Ellie
though.
was a camp herself, wasn't she? Ellie was a camp. She was an attacking midfielder. So
Yeah.
that's her passion.
Sandro looks like he can still play. Yeah, he's still fit. Is Sandro the one that used to do Muay Thai?
Yeah, I think so.
He did Muay Thai. I'm sure that he was the one, the footballer, but he did Muay Thai as well at the same time. He was really good at Muay
yeah, yeah,
Thai.
yeah. I think that was Sandro. Yes.
Yeah. So then, yeah, well, if that's the case, then he's going to be ultra fit, isn't he? We got a question that I've starred just to make sure that I'm giving ample opportunity to everybody. Shanata says, question, what has been your favourite kit over the last few years?
Last few years or in general? Because my favorite kit has to be like I think it was the
Have you still got your favourite kit with the number 11 on it?
oh, that's just the kit. That's the first kit I had. But my favorite kit is the anniversary kit, the 82 Holston anniversary kit that they had, the white one.
Yeah.
That was a pretty classic kit. It was 82, 80, yeah, I think it was 82 or 83. One of them that at that time. That kit is an amazing kit. It's my favorite classic Spurs kit. Favorite kit over the last few years. I don't like the big AIA. I wish our sponsors were a prettier like logo because the chunky AIA looks just strange to me. I miss the days when it was like Holstein or something. At least it looked nice on the kit. Especially those big red letters, the AIA just makes it look really bad. Uh, Yeah, I like the yellow Hewlett Packard kit. I think that was really nice. Um, yeah, there are a bunch of good kits. I wasn't particularly a fan of the Orasma ones, but they're still better than the AIA ones. I just hate the way it looks on our kit.
Interesting. I am going to turn around and say I'm going to go back a lot more years now, and Ellie will probably remember. But I love the good old Admiral kit, the Admiral
Oh
kit with the
yeah,
collars. So
yeah,
I'm
with the
talking,
collars.
yeah, I'm talking about when Ozzy, Glenn, Ricky, and players used to play with the Admiral kit with the collars. So for me, I'm going back even further. I'm going to go back and say the Admiral kits because we've had a few different kit makes since Admiral. Because back in the
Yeah,
day, Admiral, I mean, some of the older people will remember. Because some of the older people remember the Power um, Power trainers, Power football boots, and the Power brand that's now gone.
yeah.
But I can go back and remember Power as well
No,
as
it's still
Admiral and
there
stuff
in
like that.
India. We still have it.
You still have Power. We don't see much
Yeah,
Power here in England. We don't see much Power anymore. I remember Power like it was yesterday, and I'm talking Power Tunis when my first football boots, so to speak, that I
yeah.
ever wore, and that was back in the '70s. I wore Power Tunis, and I was back in the '70s. So yeah, don't see much Power anymore now. So, um, but yeah, for me, it's the Admiral kit. Shanata to answer that question. Has anyone else got any comments in there about the quick kit? Yeah, you've got Mark Cousins. He's coming with the 19 FA 91 Cup final kit for me for personal reasons.
Yeah, that was a good kid. It was a good looking kid as well.
Although he says that Under Armour was the best kit maker in his opinion.
Yeah. I hate Nike. Like I just Nike just does weird things to kids. I don't like the way like it just all of the like the weird underlying patterns and strange fluorescent colors. It just I it doesn't I can't I don't like Nike very much. Puma also was all right, but yeah, Under Armour was pretty good. I've seen like I like to look at old Spurs kits, and I think Under Armour was the best kit maker.
Yeah. So Shanata himself is saying, I feel like the AIA makes the white kit look a little more interesting, but maybe that's me. Like red has become an unofficial colour of the Spurs kits. It's quite
That's never happened. Never, never.
there has been quite a bit of there has been red in kits lately for Tottenham
Yeah,
because I remember when our sponsor was Mansion, and when it was Mansion, there was some red. So I've got the blue. I had the away kit and I had the home kit as well when Mansion
yeah,
sponsored us, and there was
yeah,
red within the Mansion as well. It seems to
yeah. The
be that
mansion
with
was in red, right? Like with
yeah,
the lining on it.
I think it's a lot of these betting companies because they're online betting gaming companies, they're big, massive online betting game companies, and a lot of them have red in their logos, don't they? So you got Bet Red, you got the sevens. Quite often you look at them, and a lot of them have got red, or at least the ones that we've been associated with are red. So
Yeah, yeah. No, my brother's in advertising. Apparently, red is just one of those very like Coca-Cola trademark, for example.
yeah,
Red just stays in
yeah.
people's memories, so they do put a little bit of red in everything.
And you got some chat going on here. Tequila. I worked exploration drill rigs. All the outback animals, mate, even the curious emu that's tracked me while I was doing my ablutions one day. I have to tell you, the one, oh my God, scared me out of my skin. This is some serious chat between David and Tequila. It's just going on and on. Uh, Mark, that's what I call a BO spray.
Because
That's to the kit. I don't buy home kits anymore. See, corporals.
it's got red in it.
Oh, because it's got red in it. Okay, sorry. Under Armours. Okay. Ellie's now coming in with, yes, Sandro looks super fit. Shanata saying, I'm just happy we don't have a betting company on the kit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, like how can you tell Premier League players not to bet when betting companies are sponsoring so many of the Premier League teams? It's just not okay.
yeah, yeah, it is. It's just, yeah.
Like I like a good bet just as much as the next person, but
Yeah.
you're not allowed to. Like I do once in a while, it's nice.
Well,
But
on football.
Yeah, no. So in India, betting is technically illegal, so you can only do it like privately amongst friends. There are no
Ah,
companies that you want. Uh, but like everyone likes a good bet once in a while. Uh, so like for us, we do it for like New Year's, Diwali, like big special occasions.
yeah.
We don't have like a huge bet. So it's fine to occasionally bet, but it's a different thing for the football club to be complicit in promoting betting, because a lot of people get addicted to betting, and they see these promos everywhere. And so and you can't be like Tonali and Tony and all of these players. You can't punish them if the same companies are actually funding the Premier League. That makes no sense to me. It feels like double standards.
There's a lot of teams that are sponsored or have been sponsored by betting companies in the Premiership. I will say, thinking about it now, unless my memory's gone to pieces, it has lessened a bit the amount of betting companies, but they still do exist on sponsoring teams. But it seems to have quietened down a bit, because I remember when Tottenham had a betting company, Man United had a betting company, Liverpool had a betting company, there was West Ham had a betting company, Aston Villa had a betting company on their shirts. I think Brentford might have had a betting company on their shirts, but I don't see as many. I couldn't tell you now off the top of my head how many betting companies. I think Burnley might have had a betting company in the past, but I don't know how many still have now. So I think it may have gone down a bit. Tequila's saying he liked the Mansion logo. David Sandoval likes the pony Tottenham kit, so
Yeah.
he's going back a few years with the pony. Um, Ellie's just to go last first saying you are naughty putting these three of our greats.
Yeah.
Naughty.
Jose is, I think, secretly evil. Like he's just evil.
Ellie, you weren't on the show earlier, but I did say, and I mentioned you. I have a special keep bench and with spam for when you're feeling better, but it has to be, the people on the panel will have to be people that are of an elder age to remember the players that I'm going to put in there. But if you think the ones that I've been doing recently are bad or are hard or are harsh, you want to see the three that I've picked for a special for when you get better. And to have people like yourself, Adrian, Mark, Ian Meth, people that would remember these type of players. And also from a question that was put up earlier, um, they said that why don't we do a Spurs 11? So we're thinking of doing a show where we do our great Spurs 11, where we'll pick the people at Talking Ball will pick 5 players for each position, and then we will debate and ask the chat on votes who their preferred goalkeeper is from the list, right backs, centre halves, whatever, and then we create a team from the votes of the people rather than what our personal opinions are. So yeah, all good things. Keep putting them in there. We'll try them and bring them to you. Who are AIA? I've never heard of them. They're an insurance company, I believe, Mark. I
Yeah,
believe they
but
do.
I think that was a joke by Mark. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Prior to 1937, we had many red kits. Audio Artisan is telling us. David Shaw, Ellie, it's like being tickled with a feather. Jose loves torturing us to choose. Tequila, you can bet on wrestling in some places, which, sorry to ruin it for 5 people in the world who don't know, is predetermined. And it being Sky Bet Championship, these leagues and clubs benefit from the predatory nature of betting companies. That's good. It's exactly what Ash was saying, Shanata. You're both on the same page. Could now the odds on sport in the country, reason I don't want Tony anywhere near us.
Yeah.
Kem62 is coming. She likes the 2010-11 Puma
Yeah,
one
I
that
kind of
had
like
no
those
red
too.
on it, and sponsors were Autonomy. I've got that kit as well, the Autonomy kit, but I've got the blue one, the light blue one. I had the away top, the light blue one.
Yeah.
I've not shown them here yet, but you've seen them on the chat. I've got the two new Tottenham. I've got the home and the third kit, and I think my wife's now going to get me the second kit, the blue one. So that means I've got all 3 kits for this season as well.
Oh,
So
that's amazing.
look at me, the old man that I am, and I'm in with all the new kits. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
They're all in
I'm gonna
preparation for.
get. I'm thinking of whether to buy this season's kit at all because I generally get every season's kit, but this year I didn't, and now the it's just 3 months left, so I'm wondering whether I should just wait for the new kits for next season.
Yeah. But then these are kits that I can show off years and years further down the line, or pass on down to my family. Um,
That
David Shearer saying, or oh my god, imagine the best ever midfielder strikers. Listen, we've got defenders, we've got goalkeepers. David Shearer is coming in already with Sheringham, Kane, and Greaves. I'm not going to
uh,
give it away because we've not done our list yet. We've not even begun to do our list yet. But I would hazard a guess that they would possibly be in a top 5 list. Possibly. I'm not going to give anything away because we've not done anything yet. We've not even looked at it. But yeah, to try and scramble in any football club, you're going to have top talent in any football club. Tottenham are no different. Over the years, Tottenham have had top talent, different generations, but always had top talent. So picking a 5 may sound easy, but you have to go through the generations, and there could be reasons for other players keeping others out of that top 5. So it'll be interesting when we have this discussion. What do you think, Ash?
Yeah, I also think that Tottenham, some clubs are just blessed with certain kinds of players, and we've been blessed very abundantly with like creative ballers, like ball playing players. There are other clubs that have been, with great defenders, and so that Chelsea, for example, has had some great defenders and all. I hate to say good things about Chelsea, but ours club has. Like really been blessed with creative players, players like Hoddle and Gaza, and people could at the time of their best, people could say they were some of the best in the world. So like we're particularly blessed in at Spurs, I think, more than a lot of other clubs.
Mm. Yeah, you got. I wish there was an elixir you can inject to revive Jennings, King, Hoddle, Gaza, Ginola, Berbatov, Perryman, Sheringham, Ozzy, and a special one for Greaves to bring him back to life. It's
Rest in
exactly what I
peace.
was saying. It's exactly what I was saying. There's so many players that Tottenham have got in their history. And like I said, not just us. All clubs have players throughout the generations that have been fantastic servants and great players to their clubs. When we do a top 11, it will be super hard just to get 5, just to narrow it down to 5. We've had that many good players over the years. To narrow it down to 5 for each position will be hard enough as it is. And then the joy will be, as a panel, Ash, Colin, and myself will probably say, "Here you go. Here's 5. Pick,
Alright.
pick," and that'll be interesting because, like Ash says, I get away with it on keep, bench, and or the keep and West Ham. She says that I get away with it because I choose them. Well, Ash will be able to get away with it as well, not having to select the player because we can let the chat do that. So. Um, Here we go. We've got this one here. I like holographic pattern on the away kit. Um, David She is telling us, sorry, need a new laptop as I type on my damn phone. He says, Ellie, what a history we have, which is true. And Mark Cousins just says, Hoddle gets in all day,
Yeah,
every day.
any team, any day, anytime he gets in.
Yeah, so we've got that. Dan Sheet, Europe twice when you had to win the league to participate, not like now, which is true. And Ellie's coming with, I'd clone Hoddle, my hero, the greatest English footballer in my opinion. He had it all. The greatest skill, sublime long ball pass, vision, greatest goals, ever free kick specialist, pure skill and elegance. And you've got Ellie, he is my favourite hands down. Hoddle, he means, yeah. So yeah, it'd be interesting. It'd be good to do something now that someone's put it in the chat. It'd be good to do something for us, and we will do so. Right, we've been here for nearly 3 hours, Ash, and Ash has got things to do, and yeah, our day's just begun. So yeah, I'm going to thank everybody for joining us in the chat today, and everybody who has commented, who continues to follow us and support us. We are really, we're nothing without you guys. You guys are what make the channel. We like the interaction. We like people from all over the world. We're not as big as all the other channels yet, so although we're getting busy, we try to read out every comment that you guys put in there, so you know that you're valued and that your opinions do count. I will say, in all honesty, and Ash has joined us in the last month or so, but I think even Ash can see it as well, because Ash does her own shows, like Chat Lane. Sometimes the chat does get incredibly busy, even for a small channel, and it's hard to keep up with. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I love the fact that the chat is like talking to each other and getting to know each other, because I'd like us to build like this little small community. Like Julie says, her favorite place or corner of YouTube. Um, I'd like that to happen for our chat as well, where they can come here and they can all feel welcome and feel like they're talking to their friends and bantering with their friends every day when they come on Talking Balls. So hopefully that happens for Talking Ball.
Yeah, as I said, it's getting a lot busier for us as a channel. But at the moment we are trying to read absolutely every comment that people do put out there. Just to remind everyone again, the reason why we went at the time this morning is because Colin is bought himself a new house. He was moving in yesterday, but he's also working at the same time as moving in, so it's all quite hectic. Not quite sure whether we're going to have a 4:00 show today, so just to get a show out there, we've gone and we've done a 10:30 show GMT this morning, and if we need to do one tomorrow, I'm hoping that Ash can join me if we have to do one again tomorrow. Otherwise we're going to have to wait for Colin, because for Colin he's still 6 hours behind, so for Colin it's 7:24 in the morning. I've not been near my phone, so I don't know whether he's about. I'm sure if he was, he would have popped on, but he's very busy, so hopefully Colin will let us know whether he is able to do a show today or tomorrow, but otherwise we can possibly do one again tomorrow at the same time and have you on to get some content on there. And yeah, if you haven't done so already, if you've enjoyed what Ash and myself have had to say, if you've enjoyed the show, then and you're appreciative of it, then please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, if you wish, to this channel at Talking Ball. And then also, if you were kind enough to go over to my personal channel, which is Intl Cockerel, that would be nice as well, and give that a like and a sub if you so wish. And then what we'll do is we will see you, just hit the notification bell and we'll let you know when we're coming back on. But it's great. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much. Any last words from you, Ash?
Yeah, just thanks everyone for tuning in, and I I hope that you tune in tomorrow as well. And yeah, come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, and I say that, and I will reiterate that. I would say, come on, you Spurs. And as we normally do, we will play out with Senora Madison.
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James Madison. This kid plays ball like you would never believe. Whoa.